Hello, everyone. We made it. Against all odds, they said it couldn't be done, and here we are.
It feels like that on my end. I had quite a travel palooza, and not in a good way, to get here. So I've been traveling a lot, and I came in last night. So it feels like I crossed many deserts to be here. What about you?
Yeah, no, I feel like you've crossed many deserts to be here. I was also on the opposite coast. Like, we switched places. I was
Mm-hmm.
in California with Beach Too Sandy, and then I left my laptop there
You are so good
because
at that.
why wouldn't I? In San Diego, the probably the farthest place I could have left it, or no, sorry, Sacramento. Even farther probably, and they had to mail that back, and that cost me a cool like $150 to get that back to me,
Tight.
and it came back, so it crossed deserts with you as you crossed deserts to get here, and we were like moving things around and pushing dates, and things kept getting in the way, and man, oh man, it just feels like it took forever to get here, and I feel like I haven't seen you in like 2 months.
It feels like that, but I mean, no, 3 weeks though. That
It
does
literally
feel like
couldn't have been, but it just feels like a very long time.
no. The last time I saw you was on the beginning of my journeys, in North Carolina, and I was in that
Oh,
hotel.
yeah, the hotel. No wonder. So it feels like forever since you've even been in this spot where you are. Welcome home.
Thank you.
How does it feel? Was it weird to smell your house? It's always weird to me when I smell my house after being gone for like a month.
Well, the fact that it still smells like skunk certainly was the weird
Oh,
part. Yeah.
no. Well, mine smelled like cat pee, and I went, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
How
Uh,
long has this been going on?
well, I've been traveling for like fun though, but you traveled like for work. How's tour going?
I'm just dead inside. No, it's been really fun, and I feel like California was cool because we got to see some people like our editor Zoe, and it was like cool to reconnect with people and be in the sunshine for a while. So that
Nice.
was lovely. Um, but man, oh man, that time difference kicks me right in the butt when I come back, and I'm just getting back in the swing. I've been home for about 7 days. Time to get back to normal and then leave again
Y-
soon. But yeah, we're trying to sell more tickets, people. You're doing great buying tickets. We have been having the best time. If you want to come to any of our shows, Omaha, Plano, all the rest, you can beach2sandy.com. But yeah, it's been really, really fun. Just, a lot of traveling's hard.
I
It's just
I
like
like
a
every
lot of work.
I like everything about traveling except the airports. I'm just
That's what I
so
mean.
over
Like,
it.
it's fun, but then it's like when you're like, especially like, because we were going like city to city to city, and it's like,
Hmm.
God, after you take like 2 flights, like 6 flights within the state of California in like 48 hours, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what is
Well,
this life?
I'm sure you're still living it, but the one thing that always made you and me and Eva groan all at the same time was when we just land somewhere and we're still in the
Ugh.
airport, and then we would get a text on our phone saying, "Check in for your next flight,"
And they
and
would be
within
so
24 hours.
happy, and it'd be like, congrats, you're about to fly, yay! And I'm like, fuck you, I just landed. I can't even take my seatbelt
Like,
off
I'm
yet.
not even at baggage claim, and I'm having to check
Right.
in for my next flight now. Yeah.
Oh, it's so rude.
Oh man, yeah.
But
It's
how are you? How is being home for real?
I
It was a
really
long journey you were on.
I just got home at like 2 in the morning. It's
Jesus.
been a long run. There yesterday something was going on in Denver, and that was my layover, and so to get there sucked, and then to leave sucked. There was delays nonstop. I was supposed to be home by like 7 at night, and I didn't get home until
Oh,
like 1 or 2 in
fuck.
the morning. Um
I was
so
on the way home.
yeah, anyway, that was kind of stinky, but I got to see the little puppy, and I haven't seen him in 3 weeks. I feel like he thought I officially abandoned him.
What is he like? You said is he not a baby? He grew
He
up. He
I
reached.
I feel like he took some sort of serum and is now a giant. I don't know what
He
happened,
went
but
through puberty.
his bark is lower. I'm like, did your voice fucking change? I feel like the house sitter just left a different dog here. Um, but he like instead of it's and I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my!
god.
He's grown into a man.
And he has less puppy skin, and his waist is filling out. He used to be a little lean, mean fighting machine, and now he's like a dog. Um,
Oh.
So anyway, it was very nice to see him last night. He's been extra cuddly, which is very nice. He's pulling a Geo. He's learning very quickly that a suitcase means you're leaving. So
Yeah,
he does not like the
they
suitcase,
they pick up on that quickly.
which is amazing because he acts pretty stupid everywhere else, but you know what a suitcase is. So anyway, I'm excited to be home, although I am probably very socially burnt out. I don't think I realized that I've been, quote, on for
Yeah.
many weeks in a row now. I was with Allison's family, I was with friends, I was with my family. I'm exhausted. I can't wait to just take like a depression nap.
That's the other part of traveling. It's like even when it's fun, it's like you get home and you're beat. That
Yeah, because
it's
you're also at the mercy of other people's time and everything, and
yeah,
it's a
my
lot.
least favorite thing to be.
So anyway, how are you being home? When do you head back out?
I don't fucking know anymore, Em. I just lose track. I
Just
think
white
we
knuckling it, huh?
help. I think we have Indianapolis and Detroit next, which I'm really excited about because we can drive to those. Midwest, you know. So that'll be fun.
I'm very jealous of you going to Indianapolis. I haven't spent a lot of time there. We had a
I don't
show.
think anyone's ever said that sentence out loud. No offense, Indianapolis.
Well, I'm trying to like explore, and the best I had was we had a show in Indianapolis on our
Oh
last
yes,
tour.
like really recently, like the
But
last tour, yeah,
it was one of those ones where we flew in from another city that morning,
and then
did
left.
Indianapolis, and then we had to leave at like 6 a.m. to get the next flight. So
I
we had
mean,
like an afternoon there before the show.
I love you, Indy. It's really not the most exciting place. It's a cool town. I've been there a few times.
After Cedar Rapids, anything's interesting.
Okay, all right. Well,
That
I'll
was
let
crazy.
you. I wouldn't know, but you do. But yeah. So, we're not sold out. Come on down.
When is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Does that help? Anyway, but I want to say I know what I was gonna say. I forgot because we haven't talked in 8 years. But when we hopped on, in my head, you were gonna say, "Why do you drink this week?" And I was gonna say, and what do you drink? And I was gonna say, I'm drinking iced coffee because I just came back from the beyond. Like
I
I was,
love that.
I was out of this planet, and I don't usually take naps like that. I came back and I was like, where have I been,
I
man?
love the interdimensional
And I was like, you
unconsciousness.
have to tell M you went to the beyond. You have to tell M when we get on.
You're saying that because I say that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Sorry.
I didn't know if
Yes.
you knew that I use that
No,
verbiage too.
it was like the first thing that popped in my head, and I went, "Oh my god, I get it."
It really feels like you've left Earth. You're in the
And
beyond. Yeah.
I was doing like a yoga nidra. Have you heard of yoga nidra? Of course, it's my newest like metaphysical obsession. As always, I have one going at all times, at least a few. And
I don't know what that is.
it's this basically this it's like deep or psychic rest, they call it. So you're
Mm.
not unconscious, you're sort of in that like half asleep state, but
Mhm.
it's meant, and you're meant to stay awake, but it's sort of like it's really good for your nervous system and all that good stuff, and fatigue and that kind of thing. And I was like, well, there's no way I can really like stay awake during it. So I was like, oh, I'll just set an alarm and I'll listen to it. But I think I stayed awake for the full 45-minute thing, and I was like in that weird like almost. And she even
Twilight.
said in the intro like. Some people enter like astral plane because you're kind of
Oh,
in that in between, and I'm like, I don't think I did that, but I was like very half, and I remember laying there and going, "Oh my god, I feel like my body is like recovering." Like while I was conscious, but like completely still. It
that's
was like my
amazing.
body was asleep, but my brain was awake. You know.
Interesting. Did you
And
like
then,
that? I feel like I would hate that.
well, it was so calming. I think because of like the way that they do the
Mm.
meditation, and it's just like a meditation, so you don't really feel like anything's happening. But like about 45 minutes in, I was like, like sometimes she'll say like, "Are you like make sure you're still awake" or something, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, here I am," and I'm like, "Oh, I feel my body," and then after that. My alarm went off, and we had about 20 minutes before we recorded. So I was like, I'm going to take a 15-minute real nap. And then I was like
Good for you.
out there. And I don't know what happened, but I came back and I was like, I'm a new person.
I'm so proud of you.
Woo, I got a huge coffee. I'm feeling great. And during it, it was started to thunderstorm. And I thought I was imagining it.
Forget
But
it.
I woke up and I was like thunderstorming. And I was like, this is the most perfect nap. I wish I could bottle it up and like bring it with me.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous of you. I would give
It was
anything.
really special. I just was very excited about it. So that's where
I
I am today.
Well done. I strive for that feeling. I want to chase that high for the rest of my life. The
I know. Well, I'm going to start because I get it now.
Well, anytime I will say the closest to hypnotized I've ever been is when a thunderstorm happens and I'm already in my REM cycle,
Hmm.
and I'm like, there's no coming
There's
back.
something about thunder while you're like like in the process of actually falling unconscious. That's well, asleep. Let's say asleep, not
Not the big
unconscious.
sleep, but like a medium
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, yeah. That's just so soothing. I don't know.
Sometimes I'll like play thunderstorm sounds when I'm trying to nap,
Yes.
but I have to like warn people like I'm not going to be around for like 4 hours. Like
Oh yeah, this
this is
one's
about
gonna
to be
put me
asleep.
out. Yeah.
This is no child's play nap. Um well, I'm very excited for you. Did you dream at all or were you just fucking out of sight?
No. I was almost like in this, but I was like, it was like I was like here, like present in my, and I was like, I'm feeling my whole body.
That's
It was the
beautiful.
weirdest thing. I mean, you guys, if you don't use Yoga Nidra, you should try it. The ones on YouTube that I listen to have helped me fall asleep, have helped my insomnia tremendously. Because they say like even if you fall asleep during it, it's like a really nice muscle relaxation. Then you fall asleep, and even then, like it still has, of course, benefits like sleep, which otherwise I don't get. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm taking like a, you know, the app Insight Timer. It's like
Mhm.
a meditation app. I'm doing like a 5-day uh yoga nidra thing. So we'll see.
Nice.
Anyway, but yeah, that's where I am. So I'm a little bit like
In a fun spot.
jazzed. Yeah. But
Nice.
I know you're tired. You're probably beat.
I don't think I
Um
know how tired I am yet. I think I'm still in a good
well, that's good.
spot. But when we stop recording, then I'm gonna go, oh my god, like because I think this is the last thing that my body knows to hold on for. It's
Just
like get through.
rep the thunderstorm sounds.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I
Cue them
also
up.
today I have like I'm trying to make this like a big errand day because
Is Al home with you, by the way?
still no,
Where is she?
she's still in the Carolinas. She's been there since like I think April at this point. I
Oh,
don't
I
fucking
thought
know
she came.
anymore.
I thought she comes back
No,
with you.
the whole thing was I was in North Carolina because
Oh, you went
I
to
surprised
surprise
her
her.
because it was
That's
like the halfway mark of her being gone.
Jesus Christ!
I
I
know.
didn't know it was halfway.
I know. So I saw her, but I saw her with her family, and then we went to Denver for our anniversary.
Happy belated.
Thank you. And we saw. Wow,
Oh, how was your thing?
I don't even know if I should like bring it up here. I feel like I should.
Yeah.
I just because I'm worried about spending too much time talking about it. I've been trying to get Allison and I tickets for years for us to go to this restaurant called Casa Bonita
Yeah.
in Denver, and I always heard it's just like the weirdest restaurant in the world. And I was like, well, obviously we have to go. And then they opened up reservation slots, and one happened to be on our anniversary. And I didn't even know if I was going to see Allison. I didn't have any plans yet. I just booked it. And then I was like, oh shit, now we have to go to Denver.
Sometimes the world just has to bend to your will. You know what I mean?
You know, say that louder for everyone that's not listening.
That was beautiful what I just said. Somebody write Eva, write that down, please.
Well, Casa Bonita is in fact the weirdest fucking place I've ever been.
Is it?
It's this big. We can post pictures maybe for social media, but it was this big pink castle building in a strip mall. By the way, like it's not even its own
Oh.
standalone place. It's like the first weird thing is it's in a strip mall next to like a laundromat or something, and
Well,
it's a
in
big
Denver,
pink
I
castle.
pictured it would be like on top of a mountain or something.
I know. Well, you don't have to worry about a mountain because inside they have cliffs with cliff divers.
Excellent. What?
During the show,
Oh my God.
it's a Mexican restaurant,
Sure.
and then
Obviously.
every so often, like every like certain time slot, there's these like beautiful waterfalls and cliffs, and they have like a cliff diver show.
I feel like you called it like a grown-up rainforest cafe, or am I imagining that?
That feels right.
Maybe that's something else, but it does still fit, I think.
Someone else called it like if Disneyland and Mexican restaurants had a baby or something.
Okay, all right.
Because I actively tried to not learn anything about it because I was like, I want it to be weird for me too. And so
Yeah.
as soon as Allison and I got in there, they're like, and over here is the puppet show, and this is where the face painting and balloon artist is, and also there's a magic show on the bottom floor. And
Stop.
the puppet show, I gotta say, was fucking fantastic.
Yay! I
and then
love
there's
a good
like
puppet show.
there's caves to crawl through. It's a weird place, and they've got stores obviously, and then
What'd
they
you
have
eat?
a fortune telling bird.
Oh, cool. Why did I sorry, I didn't mean to jump over the fortune telling bird, but that's awesome.
The food I ate, I will say the food is like not what you're there for. And also I'm very blessed to live in Los Angeles where like I can be kind of critical of Mexican food. It was
Right.
fine, but like you're not there for the food. You're there to
Right.
like kind of get fed and then walk around.
And then talk to the parrot.
Yeah.
That's gonna tell you all about your future.
The only thing I really knew about it is that this place, like there was like an episode of South Park that even like talked about how weird it is. And
Oh, I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
then when I got there, the waitress was like, oh, just so you know, like the puppet show is like a little X-rated. Don't forget who owns this place. And I went, who owns this place? And she was like, South Park. And I went, what? And apparently
They own it?
I was like, that's why they have a fucking episode on it. Cross
No
promotion.
wonder. Damn.
Anyway, it's very weird. It was very worth it.
The fact that marketing worked on you, because I know you used to watch South Park. The fact that marketing worked on you this many years later is amazing.
I haven't forgotten. And it's been mentioned in like, it's canonically, biblically accurate, if you will, in Meow Wolf lore.
Oh, okay. Wow. So they're really hitting you in all of the spots. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there's also a Meow Wolf in Denver, so that's where Allison and I also went.
Now, does South Park own Meow Wolf too? Because this is starting to sound a little.
That one's owned by Family Guy.
Oh my god! I really believed you for a second. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Anyway, I've talked way too much, but it was a good anniversary. I'm glad that I made an impulse purchase, and Allison just sighed and flew there, which was nice.
I love that. Yay!
Yeah.
I told you that sometime. What did I say, Eva? Sometimes the world has to bend to your will. That's right.
Let's all chance it until it's true for all of us.
Please, that would be great. But yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes we have extra long intros when things are crazy.
The last thing I'll say though is, isn't your anniversary soon, or was it already? Isn't your anniversary in July?
Well, our wedding anniversary is October 13th.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. I just remember
we do have a technical secret wedding anniversary when we got like secret married the first time, which was the 7th. We never remember it.
July 7th?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
no,
did you do anything for your anniversary since you don't know the date?
Totally. We had a great time. Let me see what we did.
I'm sorry. Shouldn't have.
We went blackberry picking. We actually did do something cute that day.
That's beautiful.
Who the hell knew?
Were they good blackberries?
They were fucking amazing. And then Leona and I made a pie.
That's great.
Thanks.
Awesome.
It was really cool and fun, and I felt like a old timey mom.
Felt like the Waltons or Little House on the Prairie or something.
I did until I cut into it, and it just poured everywhere, and I went, "Oops, I've done it all wrong."
Or, "Oops, I did it per usual again."
I did it exactly how I knew I would do it.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. That's enough of all that. I thank you for asking, but I knew it would be a kind of a thing. Money, please.
Help, we don't know what to do.
We were trying to figure out how to start talking about Rocket Money just now, and all that came out of our mouths was money, please. And it really, I mean, that's right. So we decided to stick with it.
They emailed me yesterday and they were like, "Oh, we cut down your security system bill again." And I'm like, how do you know? How do you do that?
It's so worth it, guys. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. So if you are like us, or at least like me, and are somehow shockingly financially illiterate, Rocket Money's gonna figure it out for you. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about a thing.
It's all in pretty colors. It tells you like what you're spending on. It gives you gentle reminders and nudges. Man, it is like a game changer for sure.
If you've got a goal you'd like to save for, Rocket Money is going to analyze your accounts to find the best time each month to put money it's budgeting for you. Just please, Rocket Money.
Money, please.
Money, please.
Rocket Money's 5 million users have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/drink today.
That's rocketmoney.com/drink. rocketmoney.com/drink. This podcast is sponsored by the crisp, refreshing Angry Orchard. Listen, guys, there's a litany of things that we shouldn't get angry about, but let's be honest, sometimes it's hard not to be. You know, like when Em and I are not in the room, I know it's hard to be like, ugh, where are they? Life is so bad when they're not around. And that's kind of how I feel when I don't have Angry Orchard. And my mother recently discovered that I keep it in the fridge. So I've had to move it to my mini fridge upstairs so that she doesn't keep pilfering my goods.
Well, the irony is that you would be angry that someone stole your Angry Orchard.
You're so right. And
Just saying.
you know what they say, don't get angry, get orchard. Is that what they say? I don't know.
I sure hope so.
If not, Jack, cut that part out. But I gotta say, Angry Orchard is delicious. It's the #1 hard cider in the country for a reason.
Yeah, Angry Orchard has a bright, crisp apple flavor, just like biting into a fresh apple. I prefer mine covered in chocolate at the Denver airport, but, whatever. Anyway, grab an Angry Orchard today. Don't get angry. Get Orchard. Please drink responsibly. ghost story for you. I think you're gonna like this one, Christine. This is an upscale seafood restaurant
Oh, I already like it.
in Halifax, Canada.
Oh, my favorite town. Wait, have I been there to this restaurant?
Oh, I was like, you've been to Halifax, girl.
I
Yeah.
do know that. But Blaze and I were there on our wedding anniversary, and
Oh,
we went to a really nice seafood restaurant. But it was also Canadian Thanksgiving, so a lot of places were closed. So I'm not sure. What's
was
the
it
name
called
of it?
Five Fisherman?
Let me see.
That'd be so silly.
That I will be kind of freaked out. I
It
don't think
is.
that. I
It's
don't
like
think
a
that
like a
was it.
$4 sign kind of place.
Yeah, we went to like a very fancy restaurant one of the nights. I'll ask Blaze; he might remember. But anyway, in the meantime, I don't think that's what it was called.
Okay. Well, Five Fisherman is the place. It's in Halifax, and it's on Argyle Street. Fun fact for anyone who cares about that. If you happen to be listening to this on Argyle Street, take a turn. Maybe you'll see Five
Maybe you'll
Fisherman.
get a expensive lobster tail.
Well, so this place has a super interesting history. I would say just as interesting as the ghosts. The building itself is one of the older ones in Canada, I think. It was built in 1817, and it was built by a church that was across the street. They were
Oh.
like, the kids need some education around here.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought you meant as a seafood restaurant. I was
No,
like,
sorry.
the church was really expanding, just like Family Guy and South Park. Like, I'm just such a sucker. Okay, I get it.
They
So
said all of Noah's fish came right here.
Yeah. You know those shrimp that we saved.
No, they made a school. They made a school.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was built by the church across the street, which, fun fact, is the oldest building in Halifax.
Okay.
And they were like, there's no schools here, or there's no religious enough schools here, so we're gonna build a school across from the church so that way we can keep an eye on all these kids and make sure that they're learning the right things the right ways.
About God all the time.
So they built a religious schoolhouse. It was a religious schoolhouse at first, and it opened in 1818, and it was known as the National School.
Ooh.
Fun fact, it was the first school in all of Canada to offer free education,
Oh.
and it's something we still don't know here.
I was gonna say
1818 USA.
Wow.
That's how other people have been doing it. And because it was the first school in the country to do this, it is now a protected heritage site.
Oh, cool. Okay.
After that, I guess the school got bigger and bigger, and they just couldn't hold that many kids anymore, so it moved. And a woman ended up buying it and turned it into an art school. So the person who bought it, her name is Anna Leonowens, and she called it the Victoria School of Art and Design, and it was later
Ooh.
renamed to basically NSCAD, which is the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design.
Beautiful.
Fun fact about her, the person who built this art school on top of the schoolhouse, she was the governess to the children of the king of, is it Siam?
Mm-hmm.
And she'd go on to write about her experience as a governess there.
Whoa, I bet that was interesting.
So interesting, it led to the musical The King and I.
Okay. I was like, I hope somebody did something with that story. Hey, why don't I co-opt it and
Why don't we
write a
buy
book?
buy the
Fucking
rights?
idiot. Sorry, I'm talking about myself. Sorry, everybody.
So the former governess and now inspiration behind The King and I,
That's so cool.
she's the one who bought the schoolhouse, turned it into what would become NSCAD, and it's still a college today.
That's so cool.
After it was the art school, or I guess it also got so big that it had to relocate. It was now empty again, and for the third time need to be owned by somebody.
And it's like a success story. Every time somebody goes in there, they have to move on because they get so big. So, it's like third time's a charm. Let's go.
You're exactly right. It's because the next company that moved in still exists today.
See?
And they moved in, it's very, I don't know what the right word is, but some sources, it doesn't totally add up what year this was bought, because I looked up when the art school opened and I looked up when this company that I'm about to say opened, and they like overlap each other. So I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know the years, just know that they both happened at some point. But so it was a schoolhouse, then it was, which like they all also have a weird like fun fact to them. It's like it was the first free education in Canada schoolhouse.
It's
Then
like
it
a
was
special building.
Then like built of like very legitimate art and design college to this day.
Okay, I
ran by
found the
The King and
picture.
I. Ooh, where? Well, I can't tell by the lobster if it's from there.
I know, but isn't it pretty?
it's beautiful, and so is Blaise's
Those Blaise
chest.
and his half zip, his quarter zip,
Loves a quarter zip.
and that giant bottle of wine I ordered.
Well, I know who you took home that night. A bottle of wine.
Okay, but now I have to figure out where it is. Oh my god. Okay, it's starting to look like it's close. It's at the St. Paul's Anglican Church.
Bitch,
Huh?
that's the church that built the school across the street that becomes this restaurant.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yes. St. Paul's Anglican Church is the one who created the schoolhouse
That's
because it was
fucking
across the street.
Blaise said, I think it's a Five Fisherman because that has a lot of dollar signs and I remember it was expensive.
It's
like
the
I didn't
Five
say the
Fisherman.
name of it. I just said, what's the restaurant? And he said, I have no idea. I'm looking on Google Maps. And he said, it looks like maybe the Five Fisherman. That's crazy.
Well,
And the fact that you brought up my anniversary right before that.
that is very weird. It was...
Hey, here's a picture of me. Well, here's a picture of my fucking dinner.
Everyone...
That I remember being like, we have to save up money for the most expensive night because this was going to be pricey as fuck.
What year was that? That was
2019, so it was our first wedding anniversary.
Oh, well, yeah, that is very
Yeah, we
odd.
did it big. Well, we only went to Halifax because Blaise had a conference at the conference center. So
Yeah, but
I spent
I
all day wandering around shopping for you.
Yeah, I
and
still own all of it.
I like bought you an insane amount of shit, and then at night I would I would spend all day making plans to where to eat and what ghost tour to do that night.
Of course.
And yeah, so that's hilarious. Yeah,
The
right
way that
there.
you said, and I didn't even say St. Paul's Anglican
No!
Church. I just said
I was like, that's
church.
weird.
That's so wild.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. Okay, I'm telling Blaise right now that M is. I didn't even know it was haunted.
It's
We had
like
no idea.
one of the most haunted places in Nova Scotia.
This is crazy. Okay, well, Blaise and I have been trying to come up with some sort of excuse to go back to Halifax. So
Okay, we'll go
maybe
be there.
this is it. Maybe this is it.
You just have to really eat that lobster again.
I honestly, I'd pay big bucks for that. baby.
Actually, I know a reason that you can make an excuse to go back there. I'm going to tell
Tell
you.
me.
I'm going to tell you later in
Oh,
this.
great.
Okay, so it was a schoolhouse. It was the art school. And then the next successful business that came out of that is it was bought by Snow and Company Undertakers.
Oh, no
And-
wonder I was drawn to this fucking place.
They were the city's very first mortuary.
Wow.
It still exists again at a different location, like everything else seems to, I guess. And now it is called the J.A. Snow Funeral Home. And I think now it's being ran by its fifth generation of Snow and Co. The fourth generation...
Snow and Co. Undertakers. A sign from like the old timey Snow and Co. Undertakers would be so sick.
Insane.
Yeah.
I say it's probably ran by the fifth generation because the fourth generation of J.A. Snow actually died in 2020. I looked up his obituary. Of course, his funeral was held at Snow and Co.
Why not?
Apparently, his name was J.A. Snow, I guess the fourth, I'm assuming. They called him Snowy.
Aw.
And in his obituary, it said that Snowy liked sailing, curling, golfing, his morning coffee, a daily game of backgammon, and he made a mean eggs Benedict.
Oh, hey. This sounds like a strong fella.
He looked like he was a good man.
Yeah, like it. I like it.
Another fun fact about Snow and Co. Undertaker, which by the way, I'm aware it's called like JNA Snow Funeral Home. Snow and Co. should have stayed that.
That's the good like nickname. That's like what we call it if like you know.
100%. Well, Snow and Co. Undertaker, they were the funeral parlor that many of the bodies for two major disasters in Halifax history had. Do you want to?
Well, Blaise did just text me. Our waiter said it was haunted. I'm like, clearly I don't remember that. I was probably halfway through my bottle of wine.
Well, now you can tell him.
I don't want to spoil it, but he did say something after that I do now recall. Should I read it?
Sure.
He said it was above or next to where all the unclaimed bodies from the Titanic went. I'm like,
Boom.
Blaise has no wonder Leona remembers literally everything I've ever said to her and can like use it against me because Blaise also creepy memory. Yeah.
Encyclopedic.
It's honestly upsetting sometimes.
Well, yeah. So one of the reasons it was really haunted is because it held all of the Titanic bodies.
Jesus Lord. I mean, that makes sense. I like realizing it's a funeral home or that's a mortuary. Wow. Ooh, that gave me shivers, dude.
So I'm going to talk about the Titanic real quick. Not everyone knows the...
Real quick. We're just going to like real quick talk about the Titanic.
I'm talking about
one ever.
The funeral history of Halifax amidst the Titanic.
I have been wanting someone to tell me this again since I did that one ghost tour in Halifax years ago.
When I was looking this up and everything, I was like, this is like right up Christine's alley.
I can't wait. And I don't even really like care. I mean, I don't care. I'm not like a Titanic head. I don't even think I ever finished the movie. I just, when I went to Halifax, I didn't know this about Halifax, and I think it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so I would love to hear it again.
Well, the Titanic happened. Boom. That's what happened. And
There we
then
go. Big iceberg, etc.
this was in 1912, in case anyone forgot the year. And this funeral parlor was where the bodies were brought before either going to their families for whatever they wanted to do next, or to a cemetery if those bodies were unclaimed. And just so you know, the numbers suggest that only around like 60 people got to go back to their families, and about
Oof.
130 that were unclaimed. And this is the ones that went to the funeral parlor. There were like 150 or something that ended up being buried at sea because they were too unrecognizable.
Oof.
And no amount of mortuary services could have helped them. So there was no, like, they weren't even willing to try to embalm or get a
Imagine
coffin for
having to
them.
be on the team to decide things like that. Like, that's so traumatizing to be like, who's worth bringing back and finding their family. Oh, that's so sad.
And to know there's like 100 people in like the
Yeah.
Halifax harbor that they just had to
Had to
leave there. The funeral parlor was also responsible during rescue operations to preserve the bodies ASAP. And when I mean ASAP, I mean like Mr. Snow and Co. They literally got on boats with rescue teams to find bodies, pull them out of the water, and immediately start embalming them.
Ooh, boy.
So-
Okay.
So Snow and Co. literally were the people saying,
They're, like,
we
first
can't
on
help this
scene.
one, like put them back in the water. Like they were the ones
Oh,
making those decisions, like you just said.
jeez. Okay. Wow.
And I don't know who J.A. Snow the First was, but this guy, like, he must have been in a mob or something because he had connections all around in the funeral world.
I guess if you're the funeral director, you probably do kind of start to know everyone.
He had, and they were the first mortuary in the city, but he must have been part of like a board of funeral homes all around Canada, because when he got the call, they're like, we want you to be like the funeral home handling all of these bodies that are coming in by the hundreds. J.A. Snow called in help from every undertaker in 3 provinces. And it was Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island, I think. And over 40 undertakers all came from wherever they lived to volunteer.
Jeez.
And they had this massive operation. Mr. Snow also called in favors from casket manufacturers to stay late and make more coffins. He called undertakers if they had extra hearses, and like 30 hearses from around Canada all came to help. He also made sure that the coroners were on site, like on the docks, issuing immediate death certificates and burial permits so families could just take their
Wow.
body and then immediately bury it wherever they
I mean,
wanted.
I'm glad they were so like conscientious about actually doing the process of death certificates and trying their best to connect their bodies with the right family.
I mean, like all the way down to like he made sure every volunteer undertaker like had smelling salts in case like people recognizing their family members like were gonna pass out from, like, I mean, they had thought of everything.
Jeez.
Um,
Wow.
He apparently rented out a curling rink. Can't get more Canadian than that.
Sure.
And it was like right next to the dock, I guess. And he turned it into a temporary travel portable morgue or mortuary so that all of the undertakers that were volunteering could all provide services right on the water. As soon as they found the body, they immediately started doing all this stuff.
Jeez.
One source called this temporary morgue and the curling rink, it must have been on the dock, like literally on the dock. So it was called the largest floating embalming facility on Earth.
Jesus.
And they were out on
By Ripley's Believe It or Not. Everyone was like, Ripley, it's not like it's too soon. We're not here for that right now.
Big R, relax. You know what I'm
Big
saying?
R, we know you want to jump in here, but you'll have your moment.
Well, they were all out on the boats looking for bodies. They set up coffins and embalming stations at the port to work as soon as possible, which it was very helpful that the bodies were in freezing cold water.
Yeah.
So a lot of them were frozen and then they could
Oof.
immediately work. But they were even pulling ice water out of the water to keep them frozen once they got
Oof.
on the dock. I mean, the services sounded so detailed. I will say, I don't know how true this is, but one source said that only the first class passengers got immediate care. And then
that's what we learned as well.
and
on the tour.
okay. And then all the second and third class passengers had to like be brought to his mortuary further down the road to be taken care of.
Well, and I also remember hearing that, I wouldn't say a reason for it, but one of the kind of ancillary reasons for that is that a lot of people who were not first class passengers, their families wouldn't have even been able to make it up to Halifax to claim the body, because if they come from an impoverished family or, you know, somewhere way rural out somewhere, you know, they were like, well, no one's gonna come get the body. So
That makes sense, because one of the sources I saw said that a lot of third class passengers, they ended up just telling them to just leave them at sea.
yeah, because they couldn't pay to go get them or any, you know, it's just sad.
Two of the bodies that they did find and that were immediately operated on, or I don't know what the right word is, embalmed, processed, were John Jacob Astor IV, who was apparently the richest guy on the Titanic.
I know all about that guy. He has
Do
a lot
you?
of weird fun facts. Yeah.
One day I'll just do a whole episode on him, I guess.
He's a weirdo. Yeah, you should.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Charles Hayes, who was the president of Grand Trunk Railway, he kept getting a shout out. But they were two very rich people, I
Prominent,
guess.
yeah.
And Snow and Co. worked on them.
Astor is like, Astoria is named after him. He like owned the city of New York or something. He basically
Wow.
he looked at Astoria, which is now part of Queens, and he was like, I want that. And they just like gave it to him. Like that's who he was, just like this ultra wealthy guy.
That's what I say about every Rainforest Cafe I run into.
Give it to me.
Here's a
mine.
blank check, write a number.
They're like, this got bounced.
Anyway, so sorry, Hank's drinking. Can you hear?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good.
I'm trying though.
It sounds like this.
Oh God, thanks.
I started doing this thing with him where if I grab his mouth the right way and shake his head around, he just lets his tongue kind of hang out, and then all of a sudden you just hear like a weird like wet sloshing in his mouth.
You're such a freak.
He like doesn't. You would like he just loosens all ambitions and everything just kind of sloshes
like,
around there.
Maybe that's good for his little jaw.
Maybe it's nice to know he gives up when I'm around.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Okay, so anyway, the Titanic was the first major disaster that Snow and Co. handled when they were operating in this building.
I mean, shocking they had to handle any major international disaster to begin with, but
Or that there was more to come. You'd think
I
after
was
the
gonna say,
Titanic.
but the fact that it's the first one, I'm like, what happened next? I don't even know. Oh, I remember.
You want to sell?
No.
Because you don't remember?
Well, okay. There was this explosion of
Yes.
I think a naval ship. Yeah.
Well done, Christine. Wow.
I tell you
It's
what,
all coming back. It's all coming
it really
back
is.
to-
Do you know why it does? Because anytime someone says the word Halifax around Blaise and me, we go into our insane spiel about like the city of Halifax is the coolest place on the planet, and we tell all about it. We're just obsessed with it, and you're obsessed with it, like you have been since way before I was. And it's just a really cool town. So, yeah, I do remember because we talked a lot about on the ghost hunts and stuff. Ghost tours, sorry. They talked about the explosion and stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad we both love Halifax so much because
It's really random. Like we only went for Blaise's weird medical conference. Like I don't think I ever would have expected my first time in Canada to be Halifax of all places. Did you know it has its own time zone? It's the farthest east time zone, even farther than Maine.
I didn't know that, but nothing surprises me when it's cool and it involves Halifax. I'm just like,
Agreed.
I
Good
get
point.
it.
Good point.
If you told me, did you know that the grass is made of just like scraps of
Cotton
chocolate?
candy.
I'd be like, great, whatever.
That
Tight.
makes sense.
So yes, there was 5 years after the Titanic, which 5 years later, imagine having like,
First of all, I did not know it was 5 years later. That's like from now to COVID. Do you realize
Yeah.
that? That's like really, like in perspective. Wow.
imagine working at like the first of its kind mortuary, like you're just trying to figure out your small business.
Yeah.
The Titanic, you are solely responsible for every dead body in the town where all the dead bodies showed up, and everyone's finally coming down from that. And then there's a big ass explosion
like,
that we're
just
talking about
recovered.
100 years
Yeah.
later.
Jesus.
So 1917, there's the Halifax explosion. That's exactly what it's called. There were 2 World War I warships. They collided into each other. One of them was carrying several explosives and flammable chemicals. The explosion was so intense that, quote, almost all of the northern part of Halifax was destroyed.
Ooh.
The blast killed almost 2,000 people. It injured 9,000. It
Jesus
blinded
Christ.
200. And the funeral parlor, they rolled up their sleeves and they went, all right, back to work.
Here we go.
Apparently, even though the funeral parlor was not near the explosion, the impact rolled through the town and even the funeral parlor's windows shattered from the blast.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And they went, well, there's a lot of shattered glass and there's about to be a lot of bodies in here too. So let's just get at it.
Sweep it up and prep the embalming fluid.
On to the next one. So they handled most, if not all, of the bodies that needed services. They
Wow.
they were performing upwards of 40 funerals a day just to get through them.
Oh, Pete.
I mean, almost 2,000 deaths. Like that's a lot
At the
of
same
funerals.
time, right? So it's not like staggered. I mean, not that it's better if it's staggered like an illness or like but just at the one time. I mean, that's shocking.
And I don't know anything about like funeral policy or anything, but I imagine you have to have a funeral within a certain window before there's like it's like a health violation or something.
I think there are different ways. I don't know. I think that
Like if it's cremation, it's
I think it
different. But if it's like a body, like how long can you preserve a body? You know, especially in
I think-
1917.
well, maybe not back then. I think a couple days, I think.
But if there's 2,000 deaths and you're doing
exactly. You'd
40
have to-
funerals a day, that's still like 50 days later someone's getting a funeral.
No, yeah, it'd have to be like speeding through.
Oy. So there were I'm going to send you a picture. I don't know if we're allowed to post it or not. We're still trying to figure out the rights to
So
pictures and all
folks, some
that.
people have been asking about like why we don't post photos about the stories on Instagram anymore. It's because we're trying to be more cautious about copyright, and we've gotten some people reaching out saying like, hey, this image is copyrighted, like from way ages back. So we're still working on that. It's not intentional. We're just trying to be as
We would
safe
like
as
to not have
possible.
any troubles. So
yeah, we don't want any more trouble, okay?
So now that we're trying to be more about that, if for some reason we can't show it, I encourage you to Google Halifax
Yeah.
explosion
Yeah.
funeral parlor or like coffins, because the picture I'm going to show Christine now is a picture when they were trying to do like 40 funerals a day. There were so many coffins that they were starting to stack up outside because they didn't have enough room inside to store all the bodies.
Oh my God. There is a building here just about, it's like
That's where you ate
something-
lobster, by the way.
oh my God. Yeah, this is wild. They are stacking up.
And like you can see a person standing in front of it, like they're taller than a person.
Yep. The stacks are taller than a person, just lined up down the street.
Down the
Oof,
street. Like the entire block is just stacks and stacks of coffins.
That's wild.
So it was, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you can't compare which one's worse, but imagine having the headache of the Titanic and then being like, at least nothing like that should ever happen again. And now you
Then why
literally
would
have
it?
coffins stacking across the street because you're trying to get
5
through
years
them.
later.
So anyway, the funeral parlor, I think after those two explosions or two tragedies, imagine like the PR though of like, look what we can handle, you know?
Mhm.
So
Good
they
point.
ended up getting so big that they still exist to this day, just at a different site. They moved out, and in 1975, flash forward, 1975, it became the Five Fishermen.
It's been around since 75. Wow.
And the part that I was saying why maybe you would want to go back with Blaise if you're looking for a reason is because I think on the anniversary of the Titanic each year, they have a different menu than usual, where it's the menu of what people ate on the Titanic.
Oh, that's dark. Wow. Like the last meal or just like one of the meals?
Like they were able to preserve a menu, and so now they
a
just
menu. Okay,
make
phew.
that.
I thought it was like some weird like last meal thing, but it's like
No.
a menu from that's so cool.
I thought originally it was like just a menu you could have any day, but then I saw a newscast about it, and I think it's like an event, like a limited time event every year.
Oh, okay.
And then it's
I don't
called
recall that.
let me see. I have a picture. It's very blurry, but I found it on a blog. This is the menu. So it says Titanic set menu from April 13th to April 16th. First course, second course, third course, fourth course, dessert.
Wow.
The dessert was on the Titanic, apparently, everyone, was Waldorf pudding with peach compote and a chartreuse sauce and French ice cream.
Chartreuse sauce is questionable.
What the fuck is
fine.
Waldorf pudding?
Oh, you don't know? It's like that weird. It's like walnuts and hold on. It's like a Waldorf salad. I'm assuming it's the same thing.
Just no lettuce.
I hope not. Can you imagine? Okay, yeah. So it is from the Waldorf Hotel, same as Waldorf. It looks horrid. Sorry, it looks horrid.
What's in a Waldorf
They're not
pudding?
even telling me what it's in. Oh my god, literally the Wikipedia is just about the Titanic.
Oh my god.
Oh, they don't know what it is. It was on the Titanic menu, but nobody really knows what it is. That's so cool.
That is fun. That is
Several
fun.
speculated recipes using apples, walnuts, and raisins. I'm like, you don't know what it is? It has walnuts. And I don't know where I came up with that. There's no evidence that any of those ingredients were used in the Waldorf pudding. The chefs at the Waldorf Hotel had never heard of Waldorf pudding around the time of the sinking of the Titanic.
It must have been like there was a Mr. Waldorf on board or something, and I don't know. Or like maybe it was like the chef's grandmother's recipe.
Wait, look at this. A menu from Celebrity Cruises describes Waldorf pudding served on the RMS Olympic in 1914 as a creamy vanilla pudding flavored with a hint of nutmeg, diced apples, and sultana grapes. I mean, that sounds yummy.
It does sound good.
Nutmeg vanilla pudding?
You know,
sounds better than all the other raisins and shit.
If you switch out the grapes for Snickers bars, then you've got like something from the Midwest. Isn't that like...
Then you've got like a mudslide.
Isn't that Snickers
mountain.
pie or apple pie? Snickers.
Oh, I love a
Snickers pie Midwest.
I think it's called Snickers pie.
It's literally like Snickers and green apples in vanilla pudding. Yeah. Like Snickers salad.
What if that was on the Titanic? What if it was just a Snickers salad and they didn't have the right word?
It's like that trend of like, what would make a Victorian child?
Yes.
It's like, what would make her head
expire
explode?
on the spot. Yeah.
First of all, she'd be like, what is a salad? And second of all, why is it made of candy bars?
And why did you throw the lettuce on the floor and go, ew?
Okay. That's the history. Isn't that like so fascinating? All the things it's been?
Honestly, I fucking love it. I could hear about that stuff all day. I find it deeply fascinating.
So on to the ghosts. The first thing I'm going to say is that there's a manager at the Five Fisherman called the M Schultz. Actually, go follow me.
I was like, what?
There's a manager called Wallace.
The King and I.
Wallace Fraser, and there's a quote from him that I really like about the ghosts. He says, "We say you can stay late, but never alone."
Oh.
Furniture will slide across the floor, glasses will fly off the shelves, cutlery moves itself, sinks turn on and off, doors open and close. You hear footsteps, you hear tapping and knocking a bunch of times, you feel cold drafts when there shouldn't be any. People have been grabbed, they've been touched, people see apparitions. People have felt like something's walking through them. One source actually told me about how someone saw a solid person walk through her.
Ooh, what? Ooh, do they feel it?
Yeah.
Yuck.
People hear their name whispered, and then if they're alone, they'll hear their name fully called out from the other side of the room.
Yuck.
One server on a busy night kept getting tapped on the shoulder like someone was trying to distract him from putting in orders.
How irritating, by the way.
Well, apparently he went, "What? Like, what do you want?"
Know, like,
and then
what the
turned
fuck,
around.
Karen? Oh.
And would turn around and there was nothing there. In one room next to the salad bar, speaking of salads, it's called the captain's quarters, this private room.
Ooh.
I guess it's like if you want to rent out a private room, maybe. When it's empty, people will hear someone arguing in there, like a couple. But the words are always too muffled to figure out what they're saying. I hate that.
Oh, I hate that too.
I love gossip, but if I can't hear the words, might as well not be talking.
They're basically taunting you. Like, nice try.
That's exactly right. And yeah, if nobody's in the room, you just hear yelling, which is so weird.
That's creepy.
People have sworn that they've seen someone in that room during closing, and there's nobody in the restaurant except them. They'll see people walk into the room, and even though there's no exit when they go in, they've somehow left the room, so they go in and then vanish. Staff have also watched the swinging doors into the kitchen swing themselves open and closed, and like apparently you'll hear them open when you turn around. The doors are still like swinging.
Ooh.
The most common apparitions here are misty bodies with vague facial features, so you can't decipher who they are.
Oh, geez.
I hate that.
That's Titanic?
Maybe, actually. I don't know.
Right?
Oh,
like
shit.
people trying to identify who everyone is? I don't know.
That's very symbolic.
Like that kind of foggy, right? It feels like a little too metaphorical. I don't know how poetic ghosts are, but
if you were an author, that would
right.
absolutely be it.
And we are.
We are. Well,
technically speaking.
I like, you know what's so funny? I always forget that we wrote fucking books.
I know, because it feels like we shouldn't have, because we feels like uh what do you call it? What's the word that I can't even think of?
I don't know. I can't think of it either.
When you feel like you're incompetent, but you're
Imposter syndrome.
imposter syndrome, that's the one. Yeah.
I just went to a bookstore and somebody with my friend she's like a kind of a friend of a friend. We were all in a
Yeah.
group. She didn't know that I had written a book, so I like never mentioned it. And she went, you wrote a book? And I totally forgot for a second. I went, I don't know what I would write a book about. I literally totally forgot.
You are insane. And this is literally, yeah. It's shocking that a book even got finished, let alone two of them.
I know.
We're like, we did what?
Every time I see one in a store, I go, oh my God, I forgot. Like, it's a fun
Oh my
little
God, that's
treat.
me!
Yeah. I get like starstruck by myself.
I do too.
The apparitions. Yeah. I don't know if why they're so vague, but apparently they're hard to decipher, but you can tell there's like a face in it, but you
And
don't
to
know
go
who it
with
is.
the muffled voices, that's creepy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all of it's hard to decipher. That's very interesting.
Weird.
The apparitions will sometimes be standing in front of you. Other times they'll move towards you. I guess there was a particular story where this waitress was about to go upstairs and then saw this like man-shaped mist walking towards her, and she went, never fucking mind, and she didn't go upstairs. Sometimes they have been described as having a darker, grayer mist underneath them floating up out of the floor.
Oh my God. So like a drop shadow.
It's like they make their own floor. That's fun.
That's like super cool.
I
It's
do.
stylish, actually.
It's like they were like, I wouldn't dare touch that floor. I got to make my own. One server, there was a woman and her sister, and one of them had a kid. They all went to the restaurant, knew it was haunted. The server said mainly the third floor is what's haunted, and let them go explore.
Oh God.
As soon as they got up there, they wanted to get the fuck out. Apparently, this woman said that she felt a weird vibration or humming in the halls, and as she got farther away from the stairs and the lobby, it got stronger and louder.
Oh boy.
She said she felt dread, she felt very unwelcome, she felt sick to her stomach, and she was trying to like keep it together and be brave for her nephew. So she wanted to take a picture, but she was too afraid to take a picture in the direction of the humming, so she just took a picture somewhere else. But as her
Ooh.
finger pressed the shutter button, she heard her nephew in the bathroom scream and then run out of the bathroom. And apparently, as soon as she pressed the button, a stall door like slammed shut on him.
Ah, what? It's
So
so
they
weird.
it's just weird because of the timing too. It's like,
Yeah. It's like, what
anyways,
does it mean? What does it mean?
eventually her sister, the kid's mom, went up there to explore herself, and she had the exact same feelings of like, I did not fucking like that. That was crazy. Had the same intense uneasiness, but also felt like she needed to now like keep her son close and like protect him. And she didn't know what that was about. But the server later told them, oh, I can't go upstairs by myself without feeling sick to my stomach. There's a rumor that two spirits up there are a mom and child trying to find each other, but a third spirit keeps them apart.
Hey, what? That's so fucking dark.
Yeah. And that little girl comes back, by the way. She's apparently like, they think she might be one of the kids from the Titanic.
That's so sad.
Other people have seen this girl on the third floor. They've seen her on the staircase. They've also heard a woman weeping. So maybe that's how the rumor started that they're looking for each other. One server in particular has walked into the women's bathroom and saw the little girl, and she had glowing light all around her, and she just stood there and stared at her, and she looked very, very sad. She like really emphasized how sad this girl looked.
It's really awful.
There have also been EVPs in that same bathroom of the child talking and crying and playing. So she's very active apparently in this bathroom. People have seen a woman staring at them in the mirrors.
No. Okay. No.
Yeah. Back to the scary stuff.
Honestly, that one probably, that's like where I'm like, you could not pay me to do.
I would just take the mirrors down. What restaurant needs mirrors?
I would literally just go into a catatonic state and probably not speak for a few days. I would scare the absolute shit out of me.
How many mirrors need to be in a room for you to notice that there's mirrors in the room?
A few.
Because while I think about it,
I'm oblivious. I'm very oblivious, I think, to things like that.
There's a lot of restaurants I go into that have 0 mirrors, and it's never affected me. When would it affect me when there's too many? Like, apparently
Well, if they're in the bathroom, how the hell are you oh, is it not in the bathroom? I
Not
thought
in the
this was all in the
bathroom.
Oh, I thought this was all in the bathroom.
Some of it
Okay.
was, but now that this woman who just shows up in mirrors,
I
it's just
see. That's just in general mirrors. Yeah,
yeah.
take those down.
Yeah. Like no one cares. Just put more decorations up. Um anyway, so after the mirrors have been cleaned, either you'll see the woman, sometimes children's handprints will show up in the mirror.
No.
And staff also hear heavy breathing in empty corners when they're closing up. They see shadows darting across the walls, and the basement lights will turn themselves off when you're on the other side of their room from the switch.
Jesus.
In the staff locker area, the lockers will slam themselves shut while you're changing. So imagine you like don't have a shirt on and now a locker is just slamming next to you.
And then the lights turn off across the room and you have to figure out how to get there in the dark. Like, fuck that.
And you're naked and you have to
Fuck
walk like
that
this.
and you're like holding, like, you're covering yourself. Like, no, forget it. I think I would just, again, sit down and be like, cool, I'm done. I give up.
You win.
You win.
Here's a creepy one, and maybe you know something about this that I don't. The clocks on the walls in different rooms have all stopped at the same time. And literally the
Oh.
same time, which happens to be 11:43.
Okay, I'm wondering if that was when that explosion happened. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of making that up. Was the Halifax explosion? Oh no, 9:04 a.m. So I'm not sure then.
Apparently no one can figure it out, so I imagine people have Googled all the
Oh,
times.
I thought this was like something you already knew the answer to. Okay.
No, I don't. Apparently nobody knows what 11:43 means, but you've got a weird gut feeling about stuff.
Oh, well, not today, I guess.
After one table of customers, they're all sitting there. They heard this big crash upstairs, and they had staff go look because they're like, "What the fuck was that?" Apparently, there was a whole table that was set for customers that was empty, but the table's chairs had knocked themselves over, and the silverware had all flown off the table. It was all scattered across the room.
Ew.
Another time, an employee was by himself and had to set up the salad bar. We keep mentioning salad. Which, by the way,
the salad bar. I didn't even remember there being a salad bar.
because you had your eyes on lobster, friend.
I mean, I had other plans. That's right.
It's like if there's a filet mignon in front of me and someone says like, "Oh, did you see that clown on a unicycle go by juggling fire?" I'd be like, "No, I was busy."
No wonder I didn't see the lady in the mirror and all that other shit. I was busy.
Their food has to be good here to distract you from all the scary shit.
Well, but also, like, what $4 sign has a salad bar? That feels like a Kroger or something. But maybe
I guess so, but didn't
maybe
salad
it's
bars?
a Waldorf salad bar,
Now that
a fancy salad bar.
I guess if it's from 75, I feel like salad bars were big back then.
Maybe back then. Yeah, back then I feel like they would put Jello on everything and like be like, it's a salad. Yeah.
And
true.
Snickers, yeah.
Yeah, there.
So anyway, this guy comes in. It's 3:00. Apparently, the restaurant opens at 5, so nobody was there. But it's also 3:00, witching hour, just 3 in the afternoon. And he's setting up by the salad bar, which happens to be next to the captain's quarters, where people hear all the yelling.
Mm.
While he's putting the salad bar together, he hears a huge crash again. And when he looks over to the side, he sees that a stack of ashtrays that haven't been put out yet, one had thrown itself onto the ground and shattered. I think it shattered. It had thrown itself to the ground. He bent down to pick it up, and when he stood up, he happened to make eye contact with the mirror in front of him. And he saw an old, tall man with long gray hair and a vintage black coat walking down the hallway.
What the fuck?
And he was supposed to be alone, and now he sees someone walking away from the room behind him.
At least walking away.
I know. Can you imagine approaching you?
God.
Years later, apparently also at 3 p.m., there was another employee who saw a customer, but he was on the phone, so he was like, "I'll be with you in a second." But saw this guy, even though the restaurant was supposed to be closed, and then he couldn't find this guy. He vanished, and he was like, "Did anyone else see that customer?" He had long gray hair, and he was tall, and he had a vintage black coat.
Who is it?
So this guy likes 3:00. He's early bird special.
Yeah, he's a senior discount, you know?
Another time, this one really freaks me out. Another time, a customer came in and spoke with a busboy for several minutes, but when the busboy turned away for a second and came back, the guy was gone. So he asked his coworker, "Oh, where did that customer go?" And the server said, "There's never been a customer there. You've been talking to yourself this whole time."
Ew! Oh, we all thought you were just cuckoo.
Yeah,
talking to
we were
yourself.
taking bets on when you'd stop.
What the fuck?
Other times, there's been multiple staff members at once seeing shadows moving up and down the staircase, humanoid shadows walking up and down the staircase.
No.
There was a time a server heard a loud tapping on one of the windows, but she was on the second floor. She's like, what the hell would be on the second floor window? There shouldn't be anything that can reach the window. And when she walked up to look out the window, she saw a gray human-shaped apparition hovering in the air.
I hate
Another
that.
another time, a hostess, she felt something kind of hit her in the face, but there was nothing in her space. She doesn't know what caused it. She just felt something hit her in the cheek. And by the time she got back to the hostess stand, there was a huge like red handprint as if someone slapped her across the face.
Well, that's fucked up. That's like the first like personally aggressive thing, it sounds like.
Here's the second.
Uh-oh.
Another time, a server was slammed into a wall and held down so she couldn't get up. She was just pressed into the wall and
I
couldn't
don't like
get
that
up.
it's women.
Well, the next guy was a guy.
Oh, good.
But she got held down. She called for help. And as she's still being held down, this waiter comes towards her being like, what's going on? And he also gets shoved into a wall and held
No.
down. And then they're both just stuck.
Ew.
And eventually it broke free. One server said that the building allegedly used to perform exorcisms in the women's bathrooms, which is weird to me. Although I will say it was right next to like the oldest church.
Well, yeah, that church used to own it. I don't know.
So maybe they used it for something before school.
Maybe.
Before school
and
time.
after school, just preschool exorcisms.
At recess?
Sorry, not preschool. That's what's a better way to say before school? Maybe before school, not preschool.
Customers often ask the waiters what's happened here because they sense something dark and they want to know what the history to the building
apparently
is.
Blaise and I asked because he said the server told us it was haunted, which presumably I know Blaise didn't ask, so that leaves only one other customer at our table who could have asked. So, but I don't think it was because I felt anything. I think it was just because I always ask that.
I also imagine it just had a weird feeling because from what I've seen online, the decor of it is very dated. So it feels and not dated in a bad way, dated in like we're sticking with the tradition.
Like a historic kind of way.
It's been around since the 70s.
Frankly.
We're a 5-star. It's like a classic old school steakhouse.
Like,
so
kind of a steakhouse vibe where they're like, we stick to the traditional.
Yeah, so it's just kind of darker in there. And so it just feels a little creepy. They have a vegan
menu. I just looked that up. That's cool.
They do. They have a kids menu, which is half a lobster.
I know, right? It's like $65.
Anyway, the last thing I'm going to say is there's a quote from a server named Jill who has said, at the end of the night, when people are starting to go home and it gets more quiet, you kind of stop trying to hear things because you're afraid of what you're going to see.
That's, goose cam. That's the vibe. That's like when you're in a dark house and you sense something, you don't fucking look because you know you might see something. You know what I mean? Like you hear a tapping on a second floor window. Am I going to go look? No.
No, I am not.
No, siree.
Anyway, that is Five Fisherman, and I can't believe that we found out together live that you've eaten there.
That was really exciting. I was like, there. I mean, it's a smallish town, but there are a lot of really nice restaurants. So, and we were contending with Canadian Thanksgiving, and so a lot of places had like odd hours or were like booked because people had booked for Thanksgiving. But yeah, that was a really delicious meal.
No ghosts. I'm shocked.
I did not. I know. I mean, honestly, like you said, there could have been a lady staring at me from the mirror next to me, and I would not have probably noticed. I was really busy taking pictures of my wine and my lobster.
I would have been pissed
of a Blaise.
If I was spending $4 worth on food, I better not get distracted from the food.
That's right. Yeah, it's like honestly, maybe they tell them like if they don't tip well, you can give them a little boogie boogie scare, you know, but. Otherwise, let them enjoy their 5-star meal, okay? In peace.
I'm sure there's other places, but the only other mortuary turned restaurant I can think of is there's a place in Denver called it was originally called Ollinger's like funeral services.
Called Casa Bonita.
And no, it was called Ollinger something funeral homes, I guess.
I feel like you've told me about this maybe.
Probably. It's like one of my favorite things to tell
Or was
people.
it in the book that we wrote?
Probably.
Remember we wrote a book?
Did we write a book? Well, then it became a restaurant, and I feel like it was by accident, but the O in Ollinger, they decided to keep the sign up, and the O burnt out, so now it just says Linger. How fun! And so now
I love that.
Now it's a restaurant called Linger.
Hey, that's cool.
And it's like, I mean, that's so meant to be. I feel like if you had Ollinger funeral services, you should have just made it Linger funeral services.
I mean, it's like the universe did it for them,
I know.
I
Uh,
love that.
I like to think that Ollinger was up in the sky and was like, "We're gonna keep the homage and we're gonna make it really good," and then
Yeah,
just
yeah,
turned
yeah.
his own light out.
Just watch.
Anyway,
Watch
that's
this.
Five Fishermen.
That was so cool. I mean, I never would have expected you to do a seafood restaurant, let alone one I've apparently been to.
I saw Halifax and I went, "Okay, I
All
guess."
right. 7 years ago. I
hmm
better get going. Let's go back.
I do think it'd be interesting to go and do the Titanic menu just to be like, "Oh, what they eat in 1912."
I think that's super cool, and I would love the ghost tour was one of the best I've done because there's so much history. Like the explosion, for example. Did you know? Apparently, it would have killed. Here I go with my spiel. Blaise is in my spiel. It would have killed so many more people, but there's this hill in Halifax, and it blocked a tremendous amount of the
Mm.
explosion. And if that hill had not been there, I think like the entire town would have been demolished.
Finally, a use for a hill, because
I know.
every time I see a hill, I go, "You,
What is your whole deal?
why are you here? You're in my
For
way."
what?
Yeah.
For saving your damn life. That's what
I
it is.
know. Well, that is fascinating.
Wow. Yeah, they even talked about like the aftermath and how so many people had lost their vision and hearing and how the town had to adapt
hmm
to so many people now having these like disabilities and like how it just became the whole town shifted.
There was something that I saw about like Martha's Vineyard, like being the reason that ASL started because there was like a weird amount of people on the island who needed sign language, and so they developed MVSL, which was Martha's Vineyard Sign Language, and then it was the inspiration into
There's like a lot of
general
history about Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
American Sign Language. But it was like there was like
I didn't know
400
that.
people who, like, for some reason, it must have been genetic or something, but they all needed like accessibility to speak,
Communication. Whoa.
something
Yeah,
like
I had
that.
no idea.
Anyway, your turn. Ruin my day.
I'm very proud of myself because in recent years I have been able to cut out all that fast fashion. Every season I would just buy new stuff and then end up feeling like it was junky and I don't know why I spent so much money on stuff I won't wear. But when I feel that familiar urge to refresh my closet, I just go to Quince, okay? Because their clothes are timeless, they feel luxurious, they're really great quality, and not only that, but they're extremely discounted compared to other manufacturers because they're able to cut out the middlemen and work directly with top artisans. It is the coolest setup. I bought the most beautiful shoes. Em told me to show them on air, but they are high heels, and I am in my
So?
pajamas. But I bought the Italian leather block heels for a wedding in Hawaii I'm going to in November.
Very cool.
And I don't think I bought new high heels, like dress shoes in years because I'm like, why would I spend the money? But as I was shopping, I was like, this is the best deal. They're completely comparable to other brands, $69.90. So I gotta say, they are always up in the game and coming up with new stuff, and I love them.
Christine really is probably their number one favorite fan. Whether or
It's
not
really
we're speaking about
unhinged. Yeah.
whether or not we're speaking about Quince on the show, Christine is talking about Quince. So give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/drink for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/drink to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/drink. I think it's been a long time coming that something like Fae Nutrition exists. I'm really excited about it. It connects you directly with registered dietitians, like people who are actual experts on food and nutrition, not the people on social media who say they are, but actual ones
Actual
who can
experts.
help you, right?
Yeah, we're very happy to be partnering with them. This podcast is sponsored by Faye, and Faye matches you one-on-one with a dedicated dietitian who will help you understand your body's unique needs, and your personal dietitian will work with you to create a sustainable, evidence-based program, not just a quick fix, to help you build healthy habits and achieve your health goals.
It's really cool. I was able to put some factors in while I was setting up an appointment. So I put, whatever kind of history I have with nutrition, that kind of thing. And they showed me all these really awesome people who were able to make an appointment with me really quickly. So whether you're trying to lose weight, deal with low energy, digestive discomfort, managing conditions like PCOS or diabetes, navigating food allergies, or you just want clarity amidst all the confusing diet noise, getting personalized guidance could be the foundational support you need.
It's so simple to find a dietitian who fits your needs. The vast majority of people people pay $0 for their sessions.
Having a personalized nutritionist used to cost big bucks, but not anymore with Faye. Listeners of And That's Why We Drink can qualify to see a registered dietitian for as little as $0 by visiting faynutrition.com/drink.
That's faynutrition.com/drink. One last time, that's faynutrition.com/drink. And make sure you use the URL so they know that we sent you.
All right. Well, I'm back to ruin your day, Em. I'm so glad you asked.
Phew.
This is the story of Rachel Winkler, and it's kind of one of those stories that contains a crime within a crime. So we'll get to that, but let's just jump right in. We're going to start all the way at the beginning. September 26, 1999. These two guys, Michael Hodna and Woody Depew, were camping in the Chattahoochee National Forest, which is a remote, expansive forest that covers about 26 counties in Georgia. So they're out in the wilderness camping, and in the middle of the night, they wake up to someone running through the campsite screaming for help.
Oh, shit.
So, of course, they jump out of bed, out of tent. I don't know. I don't go camping, out of sleeping
Off
bag.
the ground, yeah.
I like how I'm like, I would go under the tent and not come out. But I guess...
I would get in my car and just keep driving, yeah.
I would not be there because I would not be camping.
What's a hill?
Oh, finally, an actual good
Use
reason for a
hill.
hill to exist. So what about sledding?
If I'm driven up the
Well,
hill.
right. I mean, I'm not talking about the up part, right? But just the down part.
The down part, I understand the down part of a hill. The
Yeah.
up part, we've never been friends.
Okay, fair point. I guess the down part is always pretty fine. Okay. So Michael and Woody, they jump up, they rush out of the tent, they find this guy. He's in complete distress. He tells them he's just been in a terrible car accident and his wife is trapped in the vehicle.
Oh my God.
He's freaking out. So Woody and Michael, they run to the scene, they find the vehicle. It is completely engulfed in 20-foot tall flames.
Oh no.
And this guy's like, my wife's in there. So they make their way down this slope and they're trying to access the car, which has kind of fallen off this ledge. And Todd is, meanwhile, he's the guy that was asking for help. He waits above, but because of the fire, they just can't get access. And they realize pretty quickly there's no way they're going to be able to save the woman inside. Her name was Kathy Carlisle, and she was only 32 years old.
Oh my God.
So the men had to abandon the scene because the fire kept spreading and there was just nothing they could do. It ended up consuming 3 acres before county and federal firefighters were able to get it under control. And at this point, Kathy's husband, Todd Winkler, is inconsolable. He tells first responders that he and Kathy were just out camping together and he went to go to use the bathroom. And while he was outside, he was bitten by an insect. And because he has allergic reactions to bug bites, he said it was a medical emergency. So he woke Kathy up, said, "You have to drive me to the hospital." And he said he was in the bed of the truck. And as things were getting worse and worse, Kathy panicked and sped up in the dark, hit a curve too fast, spun off the road, and careened 200 feet down the side of the mountain.
Oh my God.
Todd was not buckled in, claiming he was in the bed of the truck, or in the back at least, and he was ejected from the vehicle when it rolled, and it finally stopped when it hit a tree and burst into flames.
Oh my God.
Now, tragically, when Kathy's remains were finally recovered, they were burned beyond recognition, and it was determined that she had been alive when the car had crashed, and because they had found evidence of smoke inhalation and internal burns. It's just horrible. Her sister, Christina, was devastated, as was her best friend, Julie Lynn Cox. Julie tried to call Todd over and over, trying to get a hold of him and just say, like, hey, what happened? Like, we want to hear from you. I mean, this is their sister and best friend's husband. And he never answered the phone. And then one day when she called, his line had just been disconnected. Okay, end of that. They just had to try and move on without Kathy in their lives. And the accident was ruled an accident.
Okay.
Several years later, I mean, you can probably hear in my tone that I don't believe it was an accident, but it was ruled technically as an accident.
Okay.
So, several years later, Todd meets Rachel. Like his late wife, Rachel was beautiful and charismatic. She graduated top of her accounting class at Sonoma State University. She was a painter and very artistic. She had an adventurous spirit and liked to spend time outdoors, hiking, river rafting, bungee jumping. And the two of them were in that kind of like honeymoon phase almost immediately. Just weeks after they started dating, they got engaged. And
Wow.
Rachel's father, Don, was a little concerned because she was going real fast. And
Hmm.
the way he talks about his daughter, it's very sweet. Like he just when he described her, I got teary eyed because I was like, what a kind way to describe a person, just as like intelligent
Oh,
and loving and creative. And she just sounded like a really cool gal. But they got engaged, and Don is a little anxious about this because he doesn't really know this guy. He feels like, how can she really know this guy? But he met him and was like, well, they're really, really in love. So he just kind of, and what is he gonna do? So he just let it happen. However, his anxiety started to worsen when one of Todd's ex girlfriends reached out and said, whatever you do, don't let your daughter marry that man.
oh shit. Okay. Which is wild because so far you really had me hooked that like I mean to be inconsolable and like
Yeah, it's that word, right?
although
It's like
I
alarming to hear.
I did question so he like had an allergic reaction to bug bites and then he never had the reaction.
Hey, good point. I do believe it's in my notes later, but I'm going to say it now just in case it's not. When the investigator arrived on scene and said, oh, where's your bug bite? He said, I forget.
Oh my god.
Does
Okay.
that
Wow.
help?
You know,
In some
immediately
way.
I
Yeah.
don't feel a complete dread for him. Okay.
Yeah. He just said, I got bitten by a bug and I had a severe allergic reaction, had to go to the
So
hospital,
severe
but then like it just stopped,
and like
you
I didn't
know?
go to the hospital.
That's weird.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, Don is getting this call about his daughter saying, and the ex is saying, hey, whatever you do, do not let your daughter marry this man. And he's like, okay, I don't know what to do with this information. Basically, he described it as this person begging him not to let his daughter get involved with this guy. But if Rachel had any doubts about Todd, she did not show them. She told Don she knew what she was doing. And like he said, she was a smart, intelligent, emotionally mature person. He trusted her to make good choices for herself and said, you know what? If you love this guy, then go for it. She assured her dad that Todd was a business minded family man who would provide for her and love her. And it was true that he was pretty successful. He was a former fighter pilot for the U.S. Air Force, and he had since retired to civilian life and landed a well paying job as an executive for a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
So Don was like, okay, fine. I'm glad he makes money, but that's not really like my big concern.
Right.
And like he always found Todd pretty respectful, like, that kind of just he's a gentleman to him and
Just the
treated
guy.
him like
Yeah.
a father figure, but Don was afraid that like maybe they didn't know the real guy. I think he probably had a gut feeling. It took a while for Don to really believe in the relationship. He was still pretty wary. Rachel and Todd ended up getting married. They settled into their new life in Cameron Park, California, which is about 40 minutes east of Sacramento. Um, I didn't know about this neighborhood, but apparently Cameron Park is a community of pilots and aeroplane enthusiasts.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. One neighborhood, Cameron Airpark Estates, is what's known as a residential air park, which are
Fun.
neighborhoods. I know. Neighborhoods built around airports. So you basically take off from your home.
That's so sick.
Isn't that wild?
I think I've heard about this one other time on one of my like spirals about the Duggars because they're all into planes. Um,
Are they? I didn't know that.
oh, all of them know how to fly a plane.
Oh, wait. Yes, you've told me that. When we cut. Yeah, you've told me this.
I think one of them said in some episode he was like, "My dream is to live in an air park," and then I, of course, had to go looking.
Yeah, of course. Because it's like, what are you talking? Like an
What a
Airstream? No.
what a fun concept! It would be so useful on tour if we lived in an air park.
Well, and if Evo was a pilot, yeah.
That would be crazy.
We would kind of need somebody to actually get us to and fro.
Sometimes in the middle of the night, I think I'm gonna go to pilot school, and then I go, you should go to bed first.
Maybe we'll start by actually falling asleep and getting a good night's rest. Yeah.
Part of me is like,
We
I
should go to sleep first.
not that I actually think I'm gonna like go to pilot school in the middle of the night, but I'm like, maybe I sleep on it because I could probably just be really tired and think this is a genius idea, and tomorrow I have a feeling I won't want to do it.
Have you flown a plane? Like,
Never in my life once, no. But I keep thinking
I
like
have.
I need a hobby. Wait, what?
Yeah, I
When
flown
you
a
were
plane.
5 and you sat in like the captain's lap?
Like Michael Scott. Uh, or was it Dwight? Yeah. No, I flew a plane. Like my stepdad got me flying lessons in high school. I didn't want them, and I said I don't want them, and then I got them anyway. So I had to do it. It was fine.
Well, you
I didn't
flew it
want.
by yourself like alone up there?
No, no, no. There was like an instructor, but I was like in the
How many lessons did you take?
only one.
And they let you fly a plane?
Yeah.
That feels like you need at least
I think what they
more
do is
than
like
one.
they scoot over. It's like a driver's plane where
Oh.
like I think they have emergency stuff on there. Like
I see.
there
I
really
see.
wasn't much I could do except like go like left, right.
Was it
Like
cool or was it horrifying?
no, it was really cool. I liked it better than skydiving, which I also was forced to do against my will. So
Couldn't be me. I would
yeah,
no.
I would prefer to stay in the plane if I'm choosing.
What is wrong with you? Why do you want to go skydiving? And also, Allison's gone bungee
I
jumping.
don't. Did you not hear against my will? Do you have any fucking idea how afraid of heights I am and how nauseated I get just being
Who
on a plane?
suggested that?
My mom. I was forced to do this by my mother and stepfather.
No wonder they married each other.
Yeah, they're sick.
They want you in the
individuals.
sky, girl. They
There's
love
a
you up
picture
there.
of me with a fucking flight certificate. I got home and I put that in the trash. I was like, I don't want any of this. Get it away. That's not true. I hug it up very proudly for a long time. But
I guess I can't. I've been
never-
in a hot air balloon.
That's cool. I've not done that. I don't want to do that either. But
I don't want to ever again.
yeah, every review I've read, Alexander and I did an episode on 1-star reviews of hot air balloon rides. That was honestly probably the funniest and most terrifying episode we've ever done. I was like,
Yeah.
this shit is crazy.
I'll tell you, the last thing it is romantic. So if you're
Can
thinking
we talk about it in the Yappy Hour? I think
100%.
like I have so many questions about it, and we've sort of
100%.
touched on it before, but I want to hear your experience. And
I need to ask about flight school. We'll do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Great. We'll talk about our time in the skies. Okay. Sorry. Back to this. So essentially, this is for aeroplane enthusiasts, and they
Mhm.
build their homes around a central air park, and you're able to take off from home in your plane. And pretty cool idea. Most homes in the neighborhood have their own hangars, of course, to park their personal aircraft. The roads are extra wide so planes and cars can safely pass each other. I mean, it's the weirdest concept. Like, they should make a sitcom based in one of these places, you know? Just
That'd be
feels so-
hysterical.
right? Like, it's so strange.
It'd be really funny if the air park was like near the lake and there was like a boat community that hated the plane
Oh, I was
community.
gonna say, what if someone moved in who like
Oh.
didn't know anything about planes and just accidentally
Beautiful.
bought a property and anyway, hijinks ensue. TM. So most homes have their own hangars for their personal aircraft, and the roads are extra wide. And pilots can taxi the planes from the airport to their front doors.
That's literally
okay?
so fucking cool.
It's so cool. Even the street signs and mailboxes are uniquely short, so they don't get hit by plane wings. As they're
mailboxes. How? Oh my god! How
No,
small
as they're
are they?
driving by, like they're like on the ground.
I was
Wait,
like,
actually, Saoirse put a photo.
I was gonna say, how tiny is this? Like for little gnomes?
Look at this. It's amazing. Hold on. They're like short, I guess I should say. They're like the sign's not small. It's just they're short, close to the ground.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know, it's like a little squat
It's like someone hammered the
Hammered
street
it in
sign
too far.
too far.
so that the wings can like safely pass over, you know?
That would be hysterical if you're like walking your dog and it looks like it's telling them to not go over 25.
Yeah, it's like slow down. Arf,
Careful.
arf. You need
I'm so s-
translation.
I'm so sorry. Tell me this horrible story. I just
I
keep
know, I
avoiding
know.
it.
It's like when we're talking about something just like a fun fact, it's so easy to just tangent on that to try and avoid the disaster that is coming. Even Cameron Park residents who aren't immediately within the Airpark neighborhood are often very into airplanes, all things flying, piloting, that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
Rachel and Todd, they bought an $860,000 house. They moved into this beautiful area, but Todd only stayed there on weekends and actually rented an apartment closer to Sacramento where he stayed during the work week so he didn't have to commute. Meanwhile, Rachel was a stay-at-home mom. They had 3 children, Eva, Ariel, and Alex.
Precious.
And yeah, everybody was just really into them. They were really popular in the neighborhood. Everyone thought they were just a happy and loving couple, good parents, cute kids. But Rachel's closest friend, Brandy, had some other ideas about this whole situation.
Uh-oh.
Rachel was struggling in her marriage to Todd, and Brandy knew this. Brandy would ask Rachel how things were going with Todd, and Rachel would always respond with a sentence like, "It's okay, I'll be fine."
Oh, girl.
And to the best friend, it was like, "That's not good enough for you, okay? Like that's not reassuring. I worry about you."
Hmm.
But when Rachel had first met Todd, she was just glowing and so happy that all of her friends and family just kind of said, "Okay, well, if this is, what makes her happy." But now they're all looking at the situation going, "Oh, they can see how defeated and deflated she looks. The light in her eyes had dimmed. She was just like really, really down." And she seemed stressed about finances. Brandy had kind of picked up on the fact that they were in some significant debt, and that sort of added on to her theory when Rachel took a job as the office manager at the Cameron Airpark. So the
Mm.
nearby, like their own air park, she took a job there. And her new schedule and lifestyle was nearly impossible. She had to be office manager, house manager, and full time primary parent 5 days a week while Todd wasn't even home.
Hmm.
And on top of that, the house being so large and needing so much care, it also needed renovations, improvements, and Todd would often start a project and then like leave, for weeks for work and then not finish it. So Rachel felt like this was an unsafe home for the kids, especially the littler ones. She talked about it feeling like a construction zone, and she told Brandy her home was unsafe and she just was always uncomfortable in there. And she just was really kind of defeated. She felt like Todd's large income like wasn't fitting the lifestyle they had, and she thought things could be better and easier considering how much money he made and the fact that now she had a job, and she just couldn't understand why things weren't really going as well as she had kind of imagined they would. It wasn't just Todd's absence and their home that troubled Rachel, though, because even when Todd was around, he had become kind of a weirdo.
Okay.
So Rachel would confide in her friend Brandy over email about her marriage, and this is one of the quotes. "Todd values experiences over relationships. I fell in love with a creep, which serves me right."
Oh,
And so,
what
red flags,
experiences?
y- you know, he's just the kind of guy who I think what she was saying is basically like he values. Those were also two separate sentences.
Hmm.
So the experiences and the creep part were two things. I think what she was just saying is like he isn't into working on the relationships within the family. He just wants like stuff and things and to go do
Hmm.
things and to he's just not
He's
maybe focused on
prioritizing himself.
himself. Yes, exactly. So, completely overwhelmed and unsatisfied, Rachel turned to a friend for support, and this friend worked with her at the airport. This was James White, a former U.S. Marine who did odd jobs at the Cameron Air Park, like painting and roof work. And of course, as these things sometimes go, the two fell in love with one another.
Hmm.
So, Brandy could see now, suddenly, that her best friend Rachel was happier than she'd been in a long time. Rachel felt fulfilled. She felt like someone was listening to her and cared about her and cared about her kids. At one point, she was even pregnant with Todd's baby, but James was like, "I don't care. Like, I still want to be with you and I want to raise your kids with you." They were just very, very in love. And Rachel knew she wanted to be with James more than she wanted to be with Todd, but she was conflicted because she had been raised religious and she was just nervous that like getting divorced, was such a
Right.
taboo and she didn't really want to go there. But she spent a few months kind of agonizing over it and she finally decided she was going to leave him.
Good. Okay.
Good. On the morning of Monday, February 27th, Todd and Rachel's neighbor called 911.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. He
Okay.
told the dispatcher, "I'm calling to report a fatality. The situation's been reported to me by my next door neighbor." The dispatcher asked what happened, and he said he believed there was a domestic dispute. And he told the dispatcher that the incident seemed to have taken place at 4 in the morning. Now, I want to tell you, the time of the call was 10 a.m. So
Just
immediately they were like, "It's been 6 hours since this incident." And the guy's like, "That's what he told me." So an officer, of course, responds to the call, finds Todd sitting on the front curb, and immediately draws a gun because, from what he can tell, there's been, a homicide. At least that's what,
That's what it
some
sounds
sort of
like.
incident, right?
Yeah.
Because of the 911 call. So he sees this man out front with kind of his head in his hands, and he walks up, weapon drawn, says like, "Put up your hands." The guy does. He says, "Who's in your house?" He says, "No one." He says, "Where are your kids?" And he says, "At the neighbor's house." And he says, "Okay, uh, where's your wife?" And he's like, "Oh, she's inside." And he said, "Well, you said no one was inside." And he said, "Oh, well, she's dead."
What?
And just the way that conversation happened, it like gives me the heebie-jeebies somehow. Like, "Oh, no one's in the house. Everyone went next door. Oh, my wife, yes, she is, but she's not alive." It's like, what a weird. It just to me was a striking way to say that. I just found it
Either
strange.
either he's like psychotically or like some
Like having
thing.
a break or like a detached.
Yeah, or either he's evil, he's snapped, or he like doesn't understand, or he's in full panic. Maybe he's just blurting things out and not
I mean,
realizing
yeah,
what's
who
going on.
knows? And it just struck me as odd, and I don't think it like it means necessarily anything, but I just was like, what a strange way to say that. It seemed like a red flag to me, I guess, is how I'll
Especially
say it.
the first time that one of his wives died, he was inconsolable, and now he's just like, oh, she's dead.
I mean, I think he was still like crying and like really upset, but I think
Oh,
it
okay.
was just the verbiage of like, no one's in the house, you know,
Mm,
and oh, I thought you said no one's in the house. Oh, well, like it's sort of like implying like, well, she's not a person. She's dead. You know, it's
right.
like the logic of like, oh, well, the house is empty. Well, of people except my
Yeah.
dead wife. Yeah, it's just it was to me. I just found it really a strange exchange. But he was acting very upset, and he was
Mm.
seemingly distraught. He told the officer Rachel was dead. He said she had attacked him, and then he started to cry. Todd waived his right to an attorney and spoke to detectives at the police station for more than an hour without any representation. He told them he usually left for Sacramento at 4 in the morning every Monday. And that morning, he wanted to talk to Rachel before he left. And this is his story, according to Todd's interview.
Okay.
They were sleeping in separate bedrooms, and he knew about the affair. And so they were sleeping in separate bedrooms. So he went into her room before leaving for work, before 4 a.m., and got into bed beside her. He knew about the affair. He wanted to try and resolve their issues, and this is what he told her. But apparently, Rachel wasn't interested and told him she was leaving. He told her that he would fight her for custody of the kids, and she responded that James, her boyfriend, the person she was having an affair with, would, quote, do him in if he tried to take the children.
Oh.
Todd then said he slapped Rachel, and then realizing what he had done, he tried to rub her back and apologize over and over. But she suddenly turned on him, wielding a pair of scissors. He said they were open, and Rachel charged Todd with them as if she would cut him, not stab him, specifically saying, she turns around and she's coming at me with a V of scissors.
Oh.
So Todd says he fought for the scissors, sustaining the wounds to his hands that the detective had seen when he had first arrested him, or taken him into custody, I should say. They wrestled each other off the bed to the floor. The fight became life or death. This is what Todd is saying. Rachel was trying to kill him, but Todd says he got on top of Rachel, pried the scissors from her, and stabbed her multiple times.
Oh my God. Okay.
At this point, Todd tells detectives Rachel was wounded, but, quote, probably not seriously.
You stabbed her?
Multiple times with a pair of scissors. Okay. He ran out of the house in a panic. Then he remembered, oh, wait, the kids are inside. And he decides he wants to take the kids with him. I don't know, or take care of them. It's just strange the way he tells his story. Get this. The youngest baby, they say, well, where was the baby? And he says, oh, in our room with us, in Rachel's room.
So
During the
she witnessed
altercation,
this.
the baby was in the room. I mean, the baby was really small, so the baby probably was not like
Still
seeing anything.
something that will be discussed in therapy one day.
And what a traumatic thing that, like, as the mom too, that this is happening in front of your baby. I mean, it's just all horrible. So he goes back into the room to check on the baby, where this brutal fight had just taken place. And apparently Todd claims he's so terrified that Rachel would hurt their children that He grabbed his leather motorcycle jacket from the car for protection. And this guy was in the fucking Air Force. Like, this is what pisses me off. This woman is this small, slight woman who's like just so down and unhappy. And like, and then this guy's this military trained 200 some pound, like,
and then all of a sudden
try
he's magically
again.
scared. Yeah.
Right? Try again. Fuck off. That really, like, oh, you had a huge wrestling match? Like, she's 95 pounds. Give it a rest, you know? Like, that
Like,
really.
I get her coming at you as sisters was scary, but you pry them away. Now what?
Don't stab her multiple. So he grabs his leather motorcycle jacket for protection and storms back into the bedroom to rescue their son. This is just insanity. In his panic, he says he tripped and Rachel kicked him in the face. She attacked him again with scissors. Todd told detectives that now it was a kill or be killed situation.
Okay.
He said, once I started to get the upper hand, this is very disturbing, I just pushed the scissors in as far as I could. And like, he really thinks this is gonna like work.
Wow. I couldn't even say that sentence.
To say that sentence, to do that, to say that, to
I
even
couldn't
think
do
that,
it and then think about it and then be able to say it out loud.
and
I'd
then
be so
articulate that you did it, right? Like,
especially if as far as the story I'm going with, everything was hunky dory and this is the love of my life, and now
and it was
I'm
just a shock.
The idea of
Exactly.
saying that about Allison, and like, because you would also, this should be like a doubly traumatic day for you if this was someone you really loved and didn't want to do this to.
That's what's so crazy is like, that's exactly it. It's like, if we're gonna believe the story, then you're telling me that this like seemingly innocuous conversation where you were gonna tell her how much you loved her and wanted to work things out just escalated, and in the end you were shoving scissors into her as deeply as you could. Like,
that's a great point, especially if this, like, I mean, you just said this, but that's a great point that if we're starting out on, I'm desperate to have you back.
Right. Like I want to fix this. Ooh, it's just really, really red flags all over town. And like, to burst back in, it's just, what do you, so if you're scared for your life, but you're going to burst back into the room, fight with scissors some more. I mean, the whole thing is just nonsensical. And so he says the scissors thing, it's fucking horrendous. This, this next bullet maybe is even worse. Okay. So just please bear with me here, folks. God damn it. He stabbed Rachel in the throat, and then he lay on her body for a long time until he was sure she was dead. And he didn't get up until the baby in the crib beside him woke up and started to cry for food.
For her mom, for their mom.
For milk.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's horrific. So this story he's telling is terrible, and is allegedly what he claims as self-defense. But detectives are listening to this and going like, okay, not all of this is really sounding correct, okay? By the time Todd called his neighbor and the first responders arrived, Rachel's body was in rigor mortis. Remember, it had been 6 hours since the incident had taken place. So now they're asking him, why did it take you 6 hours to call for help after you like just clearly laid out how you killed your own wife? And he says, well, the baby was hungry, so I took the baby to the laundry room, fed the baby a bottle, and got him back to sleep. Then he said, oh no, I got to clean this blood up before the kids come in and see it. And he was afraid the older children would come in and see this horrible scene, so he's trying to clean it all up, and he closes the door. When the older children wake up, he says he washes his hands, he makes them breakfast, puts on a movie for them, and by the way, he gives the detail that it's Planet of the Apes. Thank you for that.
Okay. Weird detail where it's not needed, and weird no detail where it's definitely needed.
Isn't that funny how that works? And I feel like they do say people who lie like add extra details to make it sound valid, and like this probably was the movie they put on, but I think he's just saying it to be like, no, it's true, check the DVD player. And it's like, nobody's questioning what movie you put on. Like, that's not what this is about. Whatever. So he says he is attempting to clean the place up, but then the kids are watching the movie, and he looks around and he goes, "Oh, I had lit. I after I put on Planet of the Apes, I lit a fire for them in the fireplace, and then I looked around and saw how many cleaning supplies I had laying around, and I thought this looks bad, so I burned all the cleaning supplies in the fireplace."
What? It looks
Which,
worse that you did that. It looks, and not
yeah.
even because it was suspicious, but because you're acting fucking weird. Like,
And like, first of all, isn't that just gonna kill everyone? Like, don't
yeah,
put
lighting Lysol on
bleach,
fire? What are you talking
Lysol and
about?
bleach in the fireplace. First of all, the plastic containers. I mean,
Also,
what are you
like, that wouldn't
doing?
be weird. It would be weird if like your bloody fingerprints were on it, but like you're in your house. There should be cleaning products
It's
there.
weird to be like, it was so weird how many cleaning
I
products
mean,
I had.
I will say as someone who overthinks, I could see myself trying to like scared of like
In
anything
shock.
looking like evidence and panicking.
Yes. In
I
shock, where you're like, if the story that is to be believed, in
yes.
shock of like, oh my God, I didn't do it on purpose and it looks like I did.
If he were truly innocent, although I'm sensing that's not the direction we're heading. If he were truly innocent, I could see like just panicking and thinking everything looks like evidence because
Right.
I don't
And
know
that's like
what
the
they're gonna
classic
find.
like trope in a where the protagonist is like technically in trouble for something, but it really wasn't their fault and they look guilty. It's like, but that's in stories,
That's like I would like get scared that like there's mud on my car and people are gonna think that's where now they think I buried someone because there's mud on my car and then I'd go get my car washed and now I'm like
But you'd
getting
have
my
to go past so many other things. Like,
yeah.
you'd have to get past like, oh, let me put a movie on for my, like, you'd have to get
Yeah, you're
past,
right.
oh, what do I do with my wife's body before like, oh, it's so suspicious I have all these cleaning products. Like,
Mm-hmm.
your wife is laying in her bedroom. I mean, on the floor in rigor mortis. It's just something about this is so bizarro. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're right. Like, it's more suspicious. So of course, the reason that was even brought up is because they found all these ashes, like fresh ashes in the fireplace. And so he thought it would look suspicious, so he burned them. And then finally, he called his neighbor, who just so happened to be a lawyer, to report Rachel's death and asked another neighbor to watch the kids while he waited for the police to arrive.
I would be fascinated to be a criminal lawyer for a day because there's got to be times when people call you and you just know you're about to defend someone
You're
who's
like, I
absolutely guilty.
actually don't want to do that. I
It's
think you
like,
probably, I mean, you can say no. Like, you don't have to represent someone.
I know, but there's someone who takes the case and they have to think, how am I going to get myself out of this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you should watch Better Call Saul. It's such a good show.
Hmm.
I feel like it's kind of similar vibes. So after Todd's interview, he was put under arrest, and you should see. They're like, "All right, put your hands behind your back." He goes, "Am I being arrested?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "You idiot! Of course you're being arrested.
Yeah.
You just told them you stabbed your wife with a pair of scissors repeatedly."
Yeah, you have to assume, of course, in my brain where I like have hypothetical situations all the time of like horrible things
Mm-hmm.
that I hope never happen. I'm like, if someone accidentally died and I was the only other person in the room or something, I would have to assume I'm gonna call the police. I'm the only one here, so obviously I'm gonna get arrested next. Like just because I was here, like I would go through it in my head. I think first of like, what can I expect out of this situation I can't control? What can I control? Okay, I will be getting arrested. I have to be okay with that. Then
I
this,
don't
then
think my
this.
brain would even go there. I think my brain would be like, "Shit, someone's dead. 911. Someone else has to
I
deal
would
with
call
this. I'm
911 first, but as I'm
freaked
waiting
out."
for the police to get there, I'd be like, well, now I just kind of put myself in a pickle here. Like, they're gonna
Interesting.
come and I'm gonna probably get arrested. There's no reason for them to not suspect me. I'm right here.
They're not gonna arrest you on the spot unless you're, like,
I
covered in blood.
I think I would just prepare for the worst.
I think I would just be in a different plane of like, I think I would just be so in shock. I don't think I would even my brain would even go there. I don't know, though. How do we know? We don't even know.
I absolutely panic if I have enough time, but usually when I don't have a lot of time to panic, I kind of just go into task mode. I'm like, what's to do next?
I think that's where I would go, just like, "Okay, 911, I know to
Yeah.
do that. I know to wait." But then when you're on 911, I mean, if the person, they're having you check the pulse, they're having you
That's true.
give CPR, like, you wouldn't just be probably twiddling your thumbs unless, like, this were a very
Hmm.
specific
Yeah,
situation.
I'm trying to justify it in my head and like be on his side for a second to be like, I guess I would panic and also act that way. I guess I would panic and also act, but there's some things where I'm
The
like,
second I shove a pair of scissors into someone I love, the mother of my children,
Good
the
point.
parent of my children. No, I'm calling the ambulance and saying, save my wife that I just got into a fight with and accidentally stabbed. Like, she was trying to stab me. I mean, any situation where you're in like a hand-to-hand combat, I just feel like you and I wouldn't even be in that situation because we're
Yeah.
not abusive, violent people. It's like, I think in his head it's making sense, but like we just wouldn't be able to understand. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
like
what
to
happened
just not be
next?
concerned about her and more be concerned about how suspicious you look and not be concerned really about the kids, but be concerned that the cleaning products look suspicious. Why don't I burn them? The whole thing, I'm like,
Yeah, in
no.
moments like that, well, obviously with the stabbing part, I'm with you. I'm trying to think of like, would I panic and do something like that? Probably. I could see those smaller things, but when you add them all up, they don't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so it was hilarious when he's like, am I under arrest? And they're like, yeah, huh.
How do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
not see that?
buddy.
Yeah.
I just told you to put your hands behind your back. So neighbors said Todd was a relatively friendly guy. They thought of him as a good father. He would sometimes jog with his older kids when they were all home. Likewise, Rachel was well liked. Some people in the neighborhood actually knew she was having an affair, but they didn't suspect anything to be as bad in the marriage as what had just shockingly happened. Like
Yeah,
nobody knew there
no
had been
one.
any violence, nothing like that. But those who were closer to Rachel said, actually, we knew all about it. And Rachel has been afraid of her husband, Todd, for a long time. The day before she died, Rachel told James, her boyfriend, that she didn't feel safe in the house when Todd was home and she did not want to stay there with the kids over weekends anymore. James told her that she was welcome to bring the kids to stay at his house for the weekend. And James told detectives that the day before her death, he was helping Rachel fill out divorce paperwork.
Hmm.
And incidentally, she planned to tell Todd that she wanted a divorce the next morning when she was killed.
Mm-hmm.
That same day, Brandy talked to Rachel on the phone, and Rachel said she had realized something about her husband, Todd. She told Brandy Todd is a pathological liar. And Rachel ended the conversation very suddenly and said, I have to call you back later. And never did.
Okay.
That was the last time they spoke.
Mm-hmm.
James agreed that Todd had a long history of bizarre lies. In the past, he had faked cancer at work. He had tried to convince Rachel to fake a car crash to collect insurance money.
Oh.
And if this is true, it's especially alarming because Todd had previously collected nearly $1.2 million when Kathy had died in that car accident. Remember that car accident?
Sure do.
He got $1.2 million in life insurance out of it.
You don't say.
Rachel's father, Don, remembered that Rachel said she had once found a box of ashes in her home and discovered they belonged to Kathy. According to Don, Rachel said, I hope I never become ashes, as sort of like a joke. And Todd said, well, then don't make me mad.
Oh my God.
And James told a similar story that Rachel had discovered the ashes, asked what they were. Todd said they belonged to his former wife. Rachel asked if she'd end up as ashes too. And he told her, as long as you don't leave me.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Investigators found Kathy's remains exactly where James said Rachel found them, stored in a plastic bag in a box in Todd's bedroom nightstand. So that all seemed to line up and corroborate the story. James also claimed that Rachel wanted the job managing the Airpark office because Todd left her with no money during the week as a control tactic, like financial abuse. He wouldn't leave her with any funds, and she had 3 children to take care of. So that's why she picked up this job, which I'm sure pissed him off. He said Todd was extremely manipulative and Rachel was trying to survive that, like at the bare minimum, in her marriage to him. Nobody who knew Rachel described any history of violence that would have escalated to attempted murder, especially on her part. And even Todd told detectives that Rachel had never once been violent with him before. So I'm like, now you're saying you're worried she's going to hurt the kids, you know? Like, nice try. Nice try. He described the fight, quote, it was a long, protracted struggle. She's a very strong girl. She's an extremely strong girl. She's in much better shape than me. Fuck off. That pisses me off.
She's stronger than an Air Force military guy?
Yeah, bullshit.
Wow.
She weighed just over 100 pounds, okay?
Could lift her.
She was petite. She weighed just over 100 pounds. Todd was twice her size, over 200 pounds, trained in military combat. Like, detectives literally could not understand how this could have been such a, quote, long, protracted struggle.
It's kind of giving when, like, a cop is trigger happy and they're like, well, I got scared he was going to come at me.
It was just so out of control. And it's like, really? Was it?
And then you look at the
seems
situation.
Like you had the power in the situation, right? Like, you had the weapon and you had the power.
It's like, maybe that's true. Like, not all the time. How is this happening so many times? This guy where, I mean,
isn't that weird?
I'm assuming at this point that he probably thought the same thing or said the same thing about his last wife to somebody.
I mean, that was a car crash, so I think he didn't have to say anything about a struggle. He just...
Do we ever find out more about the car crash? Like, was he... I kind of don't believe any of that story anymore. I mean, I know it was a car crash, but I feel like he...
Well, we'll get back. We do get back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So... Detectives also considered it unusual that his only defensive wounds were the few that he had on his hands, and they were relatively superficial, whereas Rachel, she was stabbed more than 21 times. And the defensive wounds on her own hands and fingers had been deep all the way to the bone. So when she was fighting back, she had cut marks down to the bone. He had a couple superficial, as though he had done it to himself, was what one of the detectives had surmised.
Mm-hmm.
So, attempting to find more information on Todd's history, detectives contacted the authorities that had handled Kathy's death way back in 1999. They spoke to former Deputy Sheriff Ricky Johnson, who had responded to the scene the night Kathy died. And when they called Ricky and said they're seeking information about Todd Winkler, without even thinking, he just said, "Who did he kill this time?"
Oh my God.
Even though the last one had been... Even though the last one had been ruled an accident, he was like, "I don't fucking think so."
Like, how is that not damning evidence?
That
To hear something like that. Who did he kill this time?
Oh yeah, it's like, the sheriff on the last case said that. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Ricky said in an interview that every officer has one case from their career that haunts them, and the car crash that killed Kathy is the case that haunts him.
Wow.
He said when he responded to the scene, now this is kind of where I was mentioning the bug bite, so we'll get into more of the details.
Okay.
Ricky said that when he responded to the scene, Todd was sitting at the top of the slope, looking over the fire, burning the mountainside, just like watching his wife burn alive in the car.
Oh my God. And
according to Ricky, Todd said he was lying down in the bed of the truck on the way to the hospital because he was experiencing this severe allergic reaction and struggling to breathe, which is how he was ejected out of the truck. And as Todd told Ricky the story, he had apparently miraculously recovered from this life-threatening allergic reaction. And despite being thrown from a vehicle careening down a mountain, he had no visible injuries. So they don't even believe that he fucking was in the car, you know? Because why would he put himself through the risk of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they asked, "Where's the bug bite?" And he's like, "I don't remember." I mean, that
Like,
alone is fucking damning. Like, what do you mean? You're telling me you had such a bad life-threatening injury to your body that you woke your wife up in the middle of the night and were rushing to the hospital? And now you're like, "Oops, I forget where it was." Bullshit.
Yeah. And like you said, to be ejected out of a car while already having trouble breathing, how are you able to run for help?
And now you're like running around screaming for help and you have no fucking scratches on you? Yeah. Bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah. So Todd went back to his campsite alone to collect his belongings before further questioning, and the case ended up being passed along to the Georgia State Police. Other detectives noted that Todd seemed to have a knee injury as well as a few scrapes and bruises. It was possible that Todd had self-inflicted the injuries at his campsite, but it was also possible that maybe Ricky hadn't noticed the injuries. But either way, like I said, it was determined she'd survived the initial crash and had died in the fire, which is was extra difficult for the arriving officers to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this was a terrible tragedy, but there was just simply no physical evidence that indicated foul play. So they just, even though things were fishy as fuck, they could not link this to him. And so the crash and her death were officially declared accidental. And now fast forward 13 years and we have Rachel's death under very mysterious circumstances once again. When Kathy's friends and family, remember, who had tried to call him over and over and he just disconnected his line and changed phone numbers, when they hear about this, they're like, holy shit, he did kill Kathy. Like, they immediately are like, he killed Kathy and Rachel.
All they needed was like one solid sign. Yeah.
I think they knew, but now they're like, oh, now we know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So Christina, her sister, and her best friend Julie became convinced that Todd had murdered Kathy and now Rachel. And like Ricky did in 99, detectives investigating Rachel's death started going, I don't know about these injuries. Like, you have these lacerations, but if you had picked up the baby after like this, basically like a scissor fight, and you picked up the baby, the bottle, you put on a fire, you made breakfast for the kids, like, there wasn't blood. Like, he wasn't like losing blood anywhere.
Yeah.
Indicating he would have made those marks on himself later.
Yeah. My uncle used to call them a case of the He'll be fines, of like, he'll be fine. Like, they're like, they're not
he'll
that,
be fine. They're
like,
just right.
So like,
but tis but a flesh wound, or what do they say?
Yeah.
A flesh wound. Monty Python.
I feel like every time I hear that, like, someone else was like stabbed 21 fucking times, and you've just got like a case of the He'll be fines, and you're like, no, I'm injured. It's like, you're fine.
Yeah, it's like, ow, 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 and you're like, really? You just said you pushed your scissors into the love of your life's neck. Like, don't be
this isn't evidence like you think it is. Like, if you just walked away pretty much unscathed.
Precisely. And then proceeded to just run the house like normal and not get any blood anywhere. That doesn't make any sense. And remember, he had said he picked up the baby and did a bottle like right away. And there should have been blood, but there wasn't.
Bottle,
Exactly. But investigators did find blood, this is disturbing, on a baby onesie that was lying near the laundry room. And there were drops of blood on it. And so investigators thought, well, maybe once we test this blood, it'll corroborate Todd's story. And he, like, maybe he was kind of spilling blood and he leaned over this or walked past this onesie. So they tested the blood. It was Rachel's blood. In other words, oh my God, they think perhaps she was holding the baby when he attacked, and that the blood was from her wounds onto the baby, which he then took off the baby and threw into the laundry room to wash later, which, again, talk about a fucking sociopath. So that just added like an extra element of disturbing qualities to this case. They also believe Todd, like I said, self-inflicted his wounds in those 6 hours between killing Rachel and calling the neighbor. He was charged with first-degree murder 2 days after Rachel's death, and his trial began more than 2 years later in September 2014. I don't know what the delay was about, but it was a pretty long delay. The judge allowed the prosecution, thankfully, to discuss Kathy's death and the circumstances surrounding her death from 1999. And during the prosecution's opening statement, Todd took it upon himself to cause a scene because, that's what they do, these nut jobs. He suddenly started hitting his head with his own hands and screaming in Japanese.
What the fuck is this guy's problem?
He is a raging narcissist, I think. I don't know. Like, I don't know. He's just so unhinged because he starts screaming, "You are not samurai. You do not speak truth. You only want to destroy. You have no Bushido. You have no Bushido."
So is he faking it, or is he a crazy? He's got something going on. Okay.
When Todd was married to Kathy and still serving in the military, he was stationed in Japan for a while, where he served with a squadron known as the Fighting Samurai. And he had, wow, isn't this a red flag? A man becoming obsessed with samurai culture. And he believed in the concept of Bushido as the code of conduct among samurai. And this outburst seemed shocking at first, and prosecutors were like, this is an act. Like, he wants to look unstable. And the defense was like, look, he's suffering from a dissociative disorder and conversion disorder. And basically everyone was like, I don't think so.
Okay, so nobody fell for it. Okay.
No. Well, I will say Dr. Lossie, this one expert witness on the side of the defense, so, on his defense team, or brought forward by his defense team, Dr. Lossie claimed Todd's right hand was temporarily paralyzed and weakened. He's a psychiatrist, by the way, that day by the conversion disorder, which is like basically when a mental disorder turns into a physical
Oh,
disorder.
okay.
And he says he believed that his hand had been paralyzed by conversion disorder. And when Rachel attacked him, he was weaker and more vulnerable than he would be normally. And that's why he felt like he had to fight for his life. I mean, it's just baloney. It's just a
Yeah,
bunch of baloney.
I'm not buying that.
He had had an official history of psychiatric symptoms in that years earlier he had been caught shoplifting. And when he was caught by his military commanding officer, he started screaming and appeared to have these psychiatric symptoms and was admitted to the Army hospital and eventually left the military due to psychiatric disability. And some people did say his behavior would become erratic every now and then. He would sometimes verbally attack his employers. He would claim to be getting no sleep. But Rachel's friends claim that Todd told Rachel he faked the entire incident because he wanted to sue his company. So honestly, who do I believe? No one.
He's also telling on himself then at that point.
Yeah, idiot.
Okay.
Regardless of his prior struggles with mental health, the prosecution was pretty confident that he was mentally and physically capable of understanding what was going on the day he killed Rachel, and that no disability from conversion disorder would have prevented him from being able to use his hand to attack her. I mean, he even described the attack in his own words.
Right.
Although Todd was only on trial for Rachel's death, jurors did hear testimony from witnesses regarding Kathy's death too. And I like to think Kathy was in the beyond going like, hell yeah, you know?
Yeah,
It's about fucking time. And one of the testimonies was from Kathy's former colleagues who said that Kathy took out a large life insurance policy with Todd just weeks before she died in the car crash.
Of course.
And her coworkers knew about this, so of course a huge red flag. But the prosecution believed Todd might have killed Kathy for the insurance payment, and it was possible that Todd killed Rachel with that same intent. So documents were presented to the court that showed Rachel and Todd in substantial debt, as Brandy, the best friend, had kind of sussed out. And if they had gotten divorced, Todd would have owed Rachel thousands of dollars every month, not only in alimony, but also child support. And they think that would have been the trigger that she brought up getting a divorce that morning with the stress of the debt and all of this and the affair. And that, you know, that led to the attack.
Gotcha.
So Todd's defense objected to this linking of Rachel's death and Kathy's death, saying they had nothing to do with each other. And his lawyer insisted that this is simply life.
What?
Is it?
Say lovey.
C'est la vie, que sera, sera. You know how it goes. What the fuck are
This
you even
is just
talking
how
about?
it goes. This
This
what
is
are you
like-
talking about?
Are you trying to gaslight them that it's not working? That's stupid. Like, what are you doing? They
Fuck
said
that.
it's simply life and it's simply bad luck that he lost 2 wives in traumatic incidents.
Was that laugh part of the quote? Because that felt
Idiots.
evil.
Yeah, right? It's
Felt
like
evil.
fucking Satan laughing in the background. So Rachel's brother, David Hatfield, took the stand and described the numerous red flags of violence he had spotted in Rachel's marriage to Todd. Here's an example. He testified that he was once out with the couple, his sister and Todd, for drinks along with his girlfriend Elsa. And Todd was talking about airplane purchases, you know, as you do, and said that if someone made a bad deal, he'd strangle them. And to demonstrate, he wrapped his hands around Rachel's throat and shook her, quote, strangely violently.
Oh.
Then, saying nothing else, he got up to use the bathroom. Elsa asked Rachel, hey, are you okay? And she apparently burst into tears and would just look at the floor.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And her
okay.
brother was like, this is bad. This is bad news. Red flag central, you know?
Wow. I wonder at what point, because remember her dad got that warning of like, don't let her marry
Yeah.
him. I wonder at what point he was like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
I know. I don't think he realized it maybe even until it was too late.
Yeah.
Honestly,
not that it's
you
his
know?
fault. I just wonder like when the pieces kind of got put together
I
for
think
the family.
it was all way too late. Well, obviously, but like that must just be so hard, all the hindsight, you know?
All the hindsight.
Because you don't think this could ever happen in real life, you know?
Oh my God. That's so sad. It's
It
scary
is.
too. And also the confidence to do it in front of other people and
That's
just know you're going to get away with it.
sick. It's sick. Yeah. And again, points to narcissism, sociopathy, etc. So Eric Davis, who was Todd's supervisor at the pharmaceutical company, testified as well. And Eric said Todd often spoke of Rachel suffering severe depression and perhaps alcohol use disorder. And Eric, the boss, had been under the impression that Rachel's depression was so debilitating she was unable to care for the children, because Todd was even mentioning that he would have to take time off to help care for his wife, Rachel, because she was so debilitated. She was not. Eric also recalled Todd describing the accident that had killed his first wife, Kathy. And Todd apparently told Eric, his boss, that he was still in the vehicle when it stopped and caught on fire. So now he's just telling the story as if he's some sort of like combat hero, I guess.
But he can't fight off a 100-pound girl though.
I know, which is it's just like because of his conversion disorder, you know?
Right.
So he was trapped, he claimed to his boss, but just before the fire hit him, he managed to kick his way out to safety. And then stood at the top of the hill and watched his wife burn to death?
Yeah, didn't kick the wife's window
Cool.
out? Okay.
Yeah. So on February 12th, 2012, weeks before he killed Rachel, Todd had texted Eric, the same guy, the boss, that he might be out of work all week due to a serious home situation, and that he was, quote, trying to get Rachel stabilized. Now, hearing these stories and knowing the reality of Rachel's mental health, that she was perfectly fine and was really happy with this new guy and literally had no history of any issues or violence or anything, it was just really jarring for a jury to see that, because it was like, oh, this guy's just been lying, like manipulating, his boss, making up stories.
That's wild.
It's sick. It's really gross. And so seeing that, it was really jarring. And especially when he told police that he was ejected from the bed of the truck, and then this boss saying, oh, he told me he was inside the fiery vehicle, and so they're all hearing this out loud, and it's sort of like, this isn't a good look for him. He's looking more and more like he's kind of unstable and making stuff up. So on October 22nd, 2014, the jury deliberated for just 1 hour before declaring Todd guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 26 years to life for the murder of his wife, Rachel. The conviction and sentence was a relief to Rachel's loved ones. Kathy's sister and best friends likewise were happy to have found some justice, but they wished, obviously, they had been able to get, Kathy's death declared more than an accident. But at the very least, they were able to testify and, get her story out there. They thought that if he was responsible and were convicted back then, there's also that hindsight of maybe Rachel would still be alive. Like maybe he would have gone to jail after the car crash. And of course, the sheriff who had arrived on scene also feels like, man, I wish we could have stopped him then before I got that phone call 13 years later. Don, for his side of things, that's Rachel's dad, he just felt such a weight lift when the jury announced the conviction, but of course has to live without the presence of his own daughter every single day. And he did adopt all 3 of the kids, which is really sweet.
Oh, okay.
And he said it was like a tremendous upheaval in his life, but also just a really wonderful thing that Rachel left behind, and like he gets to be in their lives. He said in a 2015 interview, I have these 3 children who are exceptional reminders of her beauty, of her character, personality, and presence. They are 2 little girls and a boy. They are articulate, and they talk about mommy almost as if she is present.
Oh.
It's like so sad. Rachel's beauty and shining personality also live on in Don's art, because he and his daughter were both artists. And he's a respected and skilled impressionist painter, and he has painted a lot of pictures of Rachel, just beautiful paintings. And he said, whenever I painted her face, I painted better.
Oh my God.
He's like a very eloquent man.
Very
really
with his feelings.
Very emotionally aware, which I love. So that's the story of Rachel Winkler and also Kathy. It's just, it's just these fucking abusers, man. It makes me furious.
Yeah. Well,
fuck them.
Yeah.
I know that's a hot take.
Relax. That's
Christine.
Too political for this podcast.
I know.
What were we going to talk about in our Yappy hour. Oh, your flight school situation.
Oh, I got to talk about that fucking airplane, man. I mean, talk about traumatizing. And then you got to tell me about your hot air balloon.
Traumatizing.
Well, if you
Oh,
want to join us, you can go to patreon.com/
not drink. Am I okay?
No, I'm not
ATWD
either. I
podcast?
literally was gonna say Beach Tea Sandy. Patreon.com/ ATWWD podcast. You can also find us ATWWD podcast all over the place. Also, if that Patreon is a broken link, try and that's why we drink. Or Beach Tea Sandy, that should work too. Try them all. And you can come find us and join us for Yappy Hour. And otherwise, check us out on socials, and we'll see you around.
And we're sorry. And
That's
why
we
drink?